Oh, okay. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I haven't
Yep.
seen you all in a week. Oh my god.
Again.
Oh my god.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's been 84 years.
8 years.
yeah.
88 years?
Will cheddar be upon thee?
Cheddar be upon thee. But yeah, speaking of, for future us later down the line, I guess I should say, just as a fair little bit of warning to either us watching or other people watching later, Mr. 8 himself is sleeping. He passed out. So with that in mind, we will be down a Vera today, and that'll be fine though. We should be all good.
That puts one stack on the EP counter.
That does put one stack on the EP counter. That's absolutely true.
When
I was wondering.
when it hits 8, we get a free ice cream sundae.
That's true. That's true. Session 8 better be a Vera session.
Oh, for
anyway.
sure. We'll nickname it After 8.
Yeah, after 8.
It'll be refreshing.
9.
Speaking of 8, you guys have probably been doing that, actually. You've been eating. Yeah, last session was a bit of a hectic one, admittedly. It was a general introduction session for all of you, making sure that you all figured out where you were when the letters came for you specifically, and eventually your all journeys to Alanos, the Grand State over on the west. Yeah, that's right. I had to think of a compass. Now, aside from that, more importantly, the man with the magic paper powers waiting for you all up at the central tower, where most of the government proceedings end up going, was expecting what would inevitably be people walking, maybe a little bit of a light jog. They didn't expect a full-blown race in the street from everyone else, which involved, but at least partially, a dusty dog running through the streets, a man with a shadow hand swinging back and forth like an idiot, and
I didn't get hurt.
you surprisingly didn't get hurt. You just helped Sala get trampled twice.
Yeah,
You
yes,
slapped him.
his hobo friend got trampled when he
Yeah,
fell.
his hobo friend got slapped and trampled. He just could not catch him. Then, of course, we can't forget that Tara then picked Faye up, folded her into a snowball, and then threw her into the sky in an attempt to knock Yushra out of it to win the race that didn't need winning. and then, of course, Charlotte taking to the roof and nearly falling off of said roof with one of the Crexy beasts, as, mind you, a near endangered animal. She is running through the streets. But with that in mind, barely, but yeah, we'll get there. Eventually, though, you all arrived at the tower, and arriving at the tower, you were met with your final competitor, who was bound in irons. Freed, though, you were all invited inside and given a general rundown that Caspian Multiani is going to be traveling with you all and with your reward, 2 per all, thinking that it's a little easier to travel together rather than trying to make a whole procession about it. He decided, I'm going to dress like a bum and follow you bums. With that little bit out of the way, and dinner coming in full force, and music being brought in, it's a proper celebration, albeit it was one that was kicked off a little fast because somebody was hungry and demanded food. Regardless, that celebration would go on into the night, and you are more than welcome. And in fact, and how I'd like to start off session is that the dining, the whining, the dining, the music, in fact, some of the dignitaries that are around as well, just kind of celebrating in what will inevitably, hopefully, be a great Alanost victory in the tournament. I'd like to kick off session at the tail end of that celebration. That's night. It's roughly about I would say it would be roughly about midnight by the time that the food had died down and the music had started to die down as well. And as things calm out, how did you all spend your evenings? I think that's a good way to get started this session, really kind of get yourselves into it. So yeah, what was everyone busy doing that night? Were you stuffing your face? Were you dancing? Were you swinging around like a fucking moron? What's the plan here for everybody? Feel free to see who takes initiative.
Me and Sala became the chandeliers.
I'm gonna go find a bar
I'm gonna get shit faced and challenge people to arm wrestling competitions for money.
Okay. Just in the palace, just finds a bar in the palace and be like, I want to pay you.
To clarify, there is no bar in this place.
What?
It's a government building. But
Well, I can't leave the government building and go around town looking for a bar.
you know what? If you all want to leave the celebration and go wandering around town, by all means, I won't stop you.
I'm no
Well,
fucking
maybe
bum.
not.
I'm staying in the government building.
I'm no fucking
I will too
bum.
then.
I mean, hey, you're welcome to go. Tara is a fucking bum. So
Well, it's a celebration, so there
That's
is at
true.
least wine. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna get
there's
drunk
still
on wine and
booze.
challenge other
Yeah.
people to
Yeah,
arm
what I
wrestling
was gonna
competitions.
say is, what I was gonna say is that while there's no bar, it's nothing like that. There are servants who are walking around with brine. Jesus Christ, brine sounds disgusting. Wine, brandy, all the fancy spirits that you'd expect at, an event.
They just carry on bowls filled with like water and salt.
Yeah,
It's just brine.
Walking
You
around
want
with
some
jars.
brine?
Some brine.
Just walk around like jars full of pickle juice. They've already eaten all the pickles.
Yeah, Tara
So-
does strike me as the type. Oh, go on, Faye.
Tara is getting drunk and arm wrestling people.
Yes.
Okay.
And mind you, the people who are here aside from you all are like middle-aged to elderly dignitaries and some
Oh dear God.
yeah, these are not like strapping young lads aside from like the guards who are sitting there at their posts making sure things don't get too crazy. Aside from like 6 guards, everyone else in here is almost geriatric, and Tara is challenging older people to arm wrestle.
Okay, so Faye probably picked at her food a little bit and sticks close to Tara, probably sitting to the side as she does all these things, quietly, fidgeting, probably slightly embarrassed watching Tara's antics and arm wrestling and these elderly people.
Hey, you over there. I know you're in a wheelchair. You look like a veteran. You wanna fucking go?
Oh my god.
Tara then proceeds to
He's
Just
flick
gonna
the elderly
sink
people.
lower in her seat and be like,
Tara's just like, I hear that when people lack something, other things make up for it. You have no legs. I'm sure your arms are very strong.
I'm sure your arms are very strong. I bet you 10 gold I can win.
Yeah, no, keep in mind, Tara then spends the rest of the night flipping elderly people over her shoulder.
Not
So many tables.
flipping them, just
So many
arm
tables
wrestles.
were broken.
I know.
They can say no. They can like just not participate.
But one thing you'll learn about the people of Alanost, especially the older people, they don't know how to say no. so,
Oh,
so
no.
Tara, yeah, or I should say rather, they're damn hard-headed, and when it comes to a challenge of any kind, they're not going to let some young whippersnapper step on their toes. So actually, you honestly would probably get some competitors who would walk up and, if I'm being honest, would probably lose immediately, because what is your strength score?
5.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Five was-
Well,
Wow.
because I
Five was-
balanced it. I balanced strength, speed, and constitution all at 5. So I had to, kind of go a bit lower on them.
Oh, your dex. That makes sense. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yep.
Okay. Well, either way, we back and forth. I don't think anyone here would still be able to beat Tara. What is everyone else busy doing? We have Faye terrified at what Tara's doing, and more so just secondhand embarrassed at Tara's antics. Tara intoxicated. What about Charlotte, who is Charlotte? I'm
Hey.
not fucking leaving.
That doesn't mean I'm not doing something special.
What are you doing then, Charlotte? What on the eve of the soiree, what is Charlotte busy doing?
I'm trying to get some sponsors for the SS Charlotte. Or the SS... I don't actually know what the name of the ship is, but whatever it's
You
called.
don't the SS.
The SS Conflagration.
Yeah. Naturally, she's
Oh, is that
using the
Vera?
feminine wild and the geriatric men.
It is.
Vera's
Oh,
alive.
Hey, Vera.
Oh my god, we got Cassius
Oh
then.
my god.
Yeah.
He woke
Are
up.
we sorry about that? Yeah, I forgot to turn alarm.
You're
"Been
okay,
at
buddy.
least
We
8 minutes
yeah,
since
it's
we
true.
started."
8 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I'm late.
You're a
It's
boy.
fine.
It begins.
It it
Begins
literally
again.
already. We just
Fucking-
started.
Just like in the middle of Charlotte going like, I am in the middle of gathering sponsors, and just Cassius kicks open the door to the side, double fisting 2 bottles of wine, going, I have had 8 glasses of wine and I am not done.
Witness me.
So to fill you in, Vera, on what we've just started, because we just kicked off just a couple minutes ago. Honestly, honestly, that 8 minutes wasn't even that far off.
I do want to interject that
my
you are
body's
literally
sensitive.
8 minutes away from being an hour late.
That's true. Damn it, Vera, leave for another 8. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I can make time.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Just to fill you on what's going on is that we're at the point where the banquet had started. We've skipped forward ahead a little bit after a little session recap towards about the end point where things are starting to wind down. And the question was presented: what has everyone done at the banquet before we kick off into the next day? Right now we were on Charlotte though, and I'm really curious. Are you actually speaking to?
Yes,
Um,
I'm actually speaking to some of the particularly rich people over there.
of course. Give me a diplomacy roll.
All right. For that, I'll have to open up the Google Drive.
You mean the sheet? That is literally your entire character? Yeah.
And then immediately, as she's about to strike good conversation with this old guy, Tara comes up behind him and pile drives him.
No,
No.
Tara, beater of the elderly.
No.
They might
No.
faint.
Faint. I was. Thank you, Quest. I said the same thing in my brain, but I thought I was too stupid to vocalize. Faint.
Tara, the geriatric chiropractor.
Yeah, I'm doing them a favor.
I rolled 5 successes and 2 crits.
Wow. That's actually
Alright.
not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well then, though you are a foreigner, quote unquote, to this part of the world, your name is not uncommon. Everybody knows about the Pirali nobles, specifically your family, who are very well known for sinking other ships that get too close. And it would take quite a bit of convincing. However, you get some notable agreement on some level, with the stipulation of, well, if you win, you may have something coming your way. Wink.
Would you
What?
would you say that she could potentially like secure some more deals with like diplomacy?
I think she rolled diplomacy, didn't
Did
she?
she?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
got a 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't catch that bit. Good.
No, it's all good. And with that in mind, the issue right now is that anything you could be given, you couldn't take. So, with the promise of victory on the line, you may just get a little bit more of extra winnings. These are some old hands, old nobility, people of power who, at some point, have served Alanost and the surrounding city-states. They've all come out. Like I said, it's not a massive event, but there's about 30 other, I would even say not even that many, like 15 other people here, aside from you all. So it's a relatively sized event. But the people that you speak to, Charlotte, generally is the same consensus. What do you want me to give you? Money? There's no ships. But with a little bit of smooth talking, should you bring victory to Alanos, it's a victory to everybody, and that just might mean a little extra victory for your pockets for your own personal ventures.
Hell yeah.
Now, who else? What is everybody else doing? We've got Tara arm wrestling, we've got Charlotte canoodling, rather, and Faye staring awkwardly at Tara. What about everyone else?
Hey, Sala.
Yeah, are we? I'm presuming this is like as we're like, would you say eating or like after eating?
Eating. Yeah, I would say that this is just more of a synopsis of how you've spent your night. What have you guys primarily been up to? Right now, it's about winding down in current time, I would say. It's about midnight. The food has stopped rolling out. The drinks have been slowing down. Most of the elderly who are too drunk to stand are asleep in various chairs. But How was your night spent? Is another good thing to look at that.
Well, as Yustra was saying, I guess we'll start with that.
Hmm.
Slice off?
Why not?
I'm sorry. What off?
Spice off.
Fight off?
Spice!
Spite off.
Spice
Spice
off.
Spice off. Spice off.
Yes.
Like, please don't start fighting here. Jesus.
We should
I
start
grabbed
punching
Paul and I
each
threw her up
other.
And I suplex Tara.
You're
Well,
pretty good.
I'd like to
for
see you
young.
try.
Anyways, what does a spice off entail, Yushra?
Well, me and Stella
This is
have our own
fucking
physics.
contest.
Me and Stella have our own spice blends, actually, from Visra.
I
we-
see.
Yeah.
Now here's the real question. How are you going to do this? Are you going to call over the other people in the party and more so both your party and the general event to have them taste test? What's the plan here? Is it to see
No,
how
well-
fucking
well-
hot it is?
Unless people are actually interested. I thought it was just going to be between mainly Yutra and Stella.
I mean, everyone is interested in you all. You guys are the champions here.
Anyways, but yeah, we'll probably just like take like assortments of food that are on the table and just pull out the small spice blend that we have.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Saul picks up his knapsack and takes out one of like the little mini sacks he has stuffed inside. Or I guess like a series of them actually. Yeah, like series of like smaller like little bags.
If you don't mind, Ballistra might interject herself a little bit on this point.
Ooh.
Seeing you pull out your, I don't know, little pouches for spice, she'll like lift her chin up a little bit. Go, have you all tasted the food yet?
Yes.
Is it not
Yes,
to your
we
liking?
have.
No, there's just something we do for fun.
Yeah, it's something. It's something we do to help enhance taste. Really.
That's why I ask if it's not to your taste, because I'm going to simply saying this from a professional standpoint. When somebody takes spice that they either brought to an event or is on the table, and they add it to a pre-existing dish that has already been fully cooked, it is a bit of an insult to the cook.
Well, this isn't the insult him.
Yes, we mean no offense, really.
I hope the rest of the whatever they call this here understands that, because these rumors are going to get back to the kitchen, and they're going to wonder what they did wrong to offend the honored guests.
Think of this as just experimentation, really.
I hope that the cook hears that. While you're doing that, Ballista will come around and she'll unhook her jug as well as her own pouch of spices and put it on the table and go, if we're doing this anyway.
A three-way spice up.
At which point, Ballistra's contribution is going to be to take one of the bottles of wine and cork it with her teeth, pour a glass, and then take a pinch of the spice from her pouch and sprinkle it into the wine.
Oh, you're making like a hypocrite or something, like out of character.
Something like that.
Like
It's a spiced wine. It's a common enough thing across many cultures.
Yeah.
She'll give it a small swirl, put it down, and say, "Let's use that as a compliment to whatever you two decide to spice up."
Alright, so are we looking to burn our mouths off, or are we looking for flavor?
Let's start with flavor. I feel like saving the burning part for maybe later on is probably preferable.
So not my kind of food.
I would most certainly say, if anything, you've got that's strong for the road. We're going to need that for the rations and the jerky.
Quite so.
That's also a fair point, actually.
It just
The trail rations are possibly the blandest thing you could possibly eat.
from what I recall, there's a few spices that have nice little preservatives in them. No, help keep the food fresher.
Mhm.
I use them sometimes whenever I go from place to place. I don't bed down often. I travel quite a bit.
As have I in the last couple of years. It's where I've come to build my my blend myself. It's traveling much of the eastern continent here, traveling around the Lake of Heroes. I've built a little bit of a repertoire myself. It's nice to see other traveled folk who have developed palates as well.
As to say, a fellow wandering soul.
You'll give a small nod to that. Yeah. So whatever you guys end up tossing your spices on, Ballista will offer the spiced wine to complement that and wash it down.
Now this is going to be something interesting.
Hmm?
Just out of sheer curiosity, Sala and Yushra, do you actually have an idea for what your personal spice blends do end up hinting at in notes, or is it just kind of a hand wave? Because
Feel
I'm
free,
genuinely curious.
I actually do have one for you, Shar, because I weirdly enough went into weird amounts of detail looking up like various like Middle Eastern like spice mixtures to see like what you should would have
Peppy and I
concocted.
both did this because one of our behind-the-scenes comparisons between the characters is that Ballista has a very like strong Anatolian Greek inspiration, whereas Yusha has a strong sort of
Middle Eastern
Middle
and-
Eastern
and, like,
and Turkish and other inspiration.
Interesting, actually. That's actually very interesting that you guys did
The reason we
Yeah,
did this
no,
is because there's some
me and-
weird parallels between the two characters, and as is, some people might tell you, there's a lot of like overlap and a lot of competition and disagreement between those two specific cultures, and it was entirely by coincidence what our characters ended up being inspired by. The food just came as a result of that. Yeah.
So then what is this spice blend? What give me the notes then, Yushra, out of sheer curiosity.
So Yushra's like spice blend currently is kind of like well, it's based off Middle Eastern. It's called a spice blend called Baharat, which is like a. People say it's like similar to garam masala. If you know what that one, if you know what that tastes like. So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's spicy. It's earthy. Um, aromatic because of stuff like cinnamon, has cumin, black pepper, stuff like that in it.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly like an earthy, hot, earthy blend.
Okay. So it's a little spicier. And what about you, Sala? What are we going with here? So is it more savory? Is it more spicy? Is it a little sweet?
I want to say it's got like probably a nice, decent spread of all of those. Yeah, so, yeah, stuff that's like a mixture of like a sweet and savory, and then maybe like one special like spicy blend.
Completely understandable. And go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here.
I think one that's probably like especially sweet, not like extremely sweet, but it's got a nice it's a nice flavor enhancer. I mean, all of them are nice flavor enhancers, but the sweet one in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
Well,
have a name for Yushra's spice blend. Funny enough.
my God, Peppy, tell me, what did you name?
Tawa
Allspice.
ball. Tawa ball. Tawa ball.
Tawo Ball. Oh,
Tawa
nice.
ball.
Okay.
There we go. Very nice. Okay, look at that. Well, with the three of you, now it's spiced wine and then Sala and Yusha spices there. I'm assuming just placing them on random food, either meats or even something simple like just something a little more bland to cleanse the palate, so you can really get the flavor. You all would spend the night doing well, just that, swapping, I assume, flavor notes,
Mhm.
and Ballistra did put it best as the servants that are at least around, while not angry by any means, look slightly nervous as they see you seasoning the food. For what reason you might not know why, whether it's that they're worried of being, fired, or potentially because they just may in general be worried they didn't work up to par for what you would expect, and maybe some of them are scared of the wrath of the head chef. For what reason, you might not know, but at the very least, get a little bit of tip into everyone's culture, and that's pretty good. Now the real question is, how does everyone else like it? does Ballistra try some of these seasonings?
Oh, absolutely.
If you want me to give you a list of the ingredients, if you spice one,
I don't personally care, but you are welcome to put it in somewhere, and you can put it in Yushra's channel, and we can just have it on hand. Something very simple and wholesome.
For Ballistra, she enjoys this very much. She makes little notes here and there. Just goes like, food doesn't quite fit the spices. Not the spices can't fit the food, but the food doesn't quite fit it. However, and she's like making mental notes as she's like eating this and she's taking it in, and she's going like, I could make adaptations for this. I could cook this, and I could make it fit.
Make it fit.
and
I'll also say she's generously gulping down wine, and at a certain point, and not to interrupt this particular flow, at a certain point, she's intending, once she has enough wine in her, to give Tara a proper challenge, because geriatrics are not going to cut it.
Oh, that's hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
You know what, Tara, Ballistra, let's do a quick strength roll, both of you, to see who ends up winning the arm wrestling contest. We'll do best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Faye's fidgeting intensifies.
The other one's now she's got wine in her. Now they're wrestling.
Tara like adjusts herself on
They're
one end of the table.
fighting.
They're fighting. As Tara's like
They're
adjusting herself
fighting.
on one end of the table, she like flexes her bicep up. She readies her elbow on the table and like does like a puff of exhale to like brush the hair out of her face, and she's like smirking. Let's see. Strength check.
Ballistra,
and we'll do best 2 out of 3. But yeah, go on. What was Ballistra?
Ballistra, like she loosens the wrappings on her arms. She takes some of the olive oil. She spreads it on her scars and her forearms, and then rewraps them before giving a little slap of her forearms onto her palms.
I know that it's for like protection and whatnot, but the idea of Ballistra oiling up her biceps and her arms and her hands is really funny.
Mm-hmm. For her, it's the equivalent of chalking up, but yeah, I can absolutely see why that would be very funny to imagine.
I misspoke.
Okay.
Actually, Tara's strength is 6, not 5.
Okay, I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just make a flat strength roll. Tell me the results of the first one, and then we'll just do it 3 times.
Okay. 4 successes, 1 crit.
So that's 5.
Got 5 successes, no crits.
Okay, so you guys tied. So the first one's a no contest.
We're holding
All right,
even.
You're holding even. Neither of you are budging. All right, one more.
Okay.
3 success, no crits.
Click. Right, because I have to click on a cell and then click off. 4 successes.
Or you can. Oh, okay. So that now it starts to budge in Ballistra's favor, of all things. Tara
ticks over like 5 degrees.
Also, yeah, the check mark that's underneath the dice roller.
That.
Yeah. So
Oh,
underneath
yeah.
the dice roller, underneath the dice roller, there's a little check mark, and if you unselect it, it will roll it again.
I don't see a check mark. I only see true.
Huh.
Are you?
It might
What
be on
are
a
you
wrong version
using
of
it
the
for?
sheet.
No, I don't think so. That wouldn't make sense. That was a new sheet.
What was that, Lynn?
What are you using it on?
I'm using it in Excel.
That's why it's supposed to be on.
That's why. Yeah, Google Sheets is the one with it specifically.
Okay.
It's no big deal.
I wanted to
Yeah.
download it so I had an offline version of it.
That's totally understandable. Just so you have your way of rolling.
Then just select a blank cell,
then
write
click
something
on it.
random on it, and then click enter. That'll re-roll it anyway.
What I've been doing is I double click a cell and then I click off.
Oh.
All right, and then one more. Let's see if Ballistra can actually win this out. Tara's been arm wrestling all night, so now she has a challenge.
As Tara
I was
had,
watching and like getting nervous and leaning forward, concerned someone will get hurt.
I got 4 success, 1 crit.
That's 5.
Four successes, 1 crit.
Did it tie again?
So it is.
Okay, so it's tied again. So now that means we have to go into sudden death.
Oh no.
2 ties. Now it's back to even.
Whoever loses gets put through the floor.
pressure. Yeah, that's only if you guys really, really crit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no. Now it's intensifying. Your auras are burning. There's fire and brimstone in the air, and now as
Lightning
you're
sparks
locked,
between our eyes.
lightning is sparking.
There's the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure menacing.
The menacing
Go, go,
aura.
go, 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 go.
At this point, now all of the yes, G-Day. Of all of the geriatrics that Tara has already beaten are now cheering on Ballistra. Like, take her down! They're desperately hoping that someone can beat the bull. Now,
Okay.
let's see.
Point,
There's a
right?
cheering squad of a retirement
It's
home.
like just Ballistra who's just going like, I don't care about your opinions. Stop distracting me. Just like they'll prepare. It's Ballistra now. She's like her face is kind of rosy red. There's like a red like undertone to her otherwise bronze skin as she strains, and just like the frustration and the little bit of the alcohol coming up in a blush. You see this the oil is not the only thing shining across her arms and her face. It's also just a bead of sweat as she's got her smaller hand wrapped in Tara's massive mitt.
Tara like exhales through her nose, and you can actually see like the air come out.
It's steam.
The steam.
Faye has stood up at this point, and she's really concerned and trying to stop them. So she's going to be like, "You're clearly evenly matched. There's no need for this, please."
No, it's all right.
Oh,
I
okay.
know
So
all
at the words
You're
of
pretty good at
evenly
this,
matched,
Ballistra.
Ballistra lets out a and
It
6
didn't
successes,
come
2
through.
crits.
That's better. It's better.
I got
With just a
success, no crits.
loud.
Oh my god.
To which I guess or I guess
Her, I guess.
as I guess fucking I flip the table and Tara. I don't know. What do you say, Tara?
I would probably say
The table breaks
The table breaks
under the weight of Tara.
Actually,
Phase.
let's do it like this.
Mhm.
Ballistra puts one last burst of strength into it. For record's sake, Ballistra also has a strength of 6.
You guys are actually evenly matched on strength.
Then bring the hand down. It goes through the table, and instead of just like throwing Tara to the floor, Ballistra, overestimating or like underestimating her own strength and overestimating her own sense of balance, ends up throwing herself as well as Tara to the floor.
They flip over each other.
Once more in a tangle of ladies.
We have to stop meeting like this.
We're just like Ballistra's on her side, hand still holding Tara's, as they look each other in the eye, a look of confusion on Ballistra's face. Just like, this is the second time.
In one day.
Goddamn. You're impressive. I'm very aroused.
Some fight them.
Wow.
This is like the alcohol blush on Ballistra's face flares crimson red as she like rips her hand out of Tara's, slaps her palms against the floor, and is right up on her feet and goes, "Right, there was more booze."
Whoa!
What did you
From
put
the
on the
corner,
palm?
slow clapping. It's Cassius.
He's like slow clapping. He just starts standing up and he goes,
I just imagine it all goes silent, and once Tara says that,
It's just dead silence before Ballistra throws herself to her feet and goes, "Right, anything else?"
and then the clapping starts echoing through the room.
He will clap. He will clap 8 times.
So these collisions are very forward, yes?
Sala just looking behind at the chaos happening at the other table. Yes, I suppose so. Yes, as he has like a mouthful of food.
When the table broke, Faye squeaks and panics and kneels near the both of them, but she just freezes in confusion when Ballistra pops right back up at Tara's comment.
Yeah, it's just like
So she's gonna be like, "Are you both okay?"
But like Ballistra's up on her feet, she sees Faye looking concerned. It was like, I am perfectly fine. I have had too much to drink. I'm gonna go eat something.
Right.
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know what she puts on her hand. It feels kind of slippery, but I feel good, fired up.
It smells like
Maybe feel-
olives. Yep.
Must be an aphrodisiac.
Well-
Goddamn.
Don't. Anyway, but Ballistra's just like almost too rigid. Is going to walk right back over to to Yushra and Sala are sampling the hors d'oeuvres, and it's going to be right back over them. Like, right. So, any more of that food left over? I hope you haven't eaten everything.
No, there's
No,
Would you
I've got plenty.
At which point, like, yeah, Ballistra's gonna like shove her hand into her own spice pouch, slap that on like I don't know, on a bruschetta or something like that, and just shove that in her mouth. Anything to occupy her mouth is the food buffer. So she doesn't. Her mouth won't work in a nervous habit.
Do you want something that can kind of kick you back to sobriety?
She just looks at you with like skepticism in her eye that you even might have something like that on hand. And she shakes her head and just goes like, brings up a thumb and forefinger up in a circle. Going, I'm okay. As she's chomping down on a whole bruschetta she just shoved in her mouth.
Shoot yourself. Yes. Sala, for reference, is definitely stuffing his face with some of this food.
And while this whole cavalcade of kerfuckles is going on, of all things, we have two others who would most likely not be involved in the kerfuckling. But Jide, I'm interested. What are you doing? Because this is your first meal proper in a long time. Sarkal is not very hospitable. They don't give you food or water. They tell you to go fuck yourself, and maybe, if you're lucky, you'll find some fucking water. Most of it is fetid bog water, but people make do. This is your first proper sit-down meal since you've most likely been incarcerated. What are you doing while everyone else is fucking around?
Simply put, G-Day probably pulled up a chair to one of the tables that has food and just started eating.
That's completely understandable. Jide doesn't seem the type to cause a scene. Yeah.
Nope, just pulled up a chair to wherever the food is. Just started eating, drinking, just somebody couldn't take anymore. And then after that, just decided to sit there and essentially just watch his teammates, what he so-called teammates, watching how they interact.
Sala, is it me or do I sense an edge lord? That's how.
Brooding.
Sala, is it me?
Sala just like playfully smells the air. It says, yeah, no, you can smell it from a mile off.
Yeah, it's metallic.
Smells like bog water.
Smells like stagnant water and something metallic and
still water.
Do I have a cut on my arm right now? Where did this come from?
Well, speaking of that, before Linkin Park starts blasting, then
Let's look at the other Linkin Park player, Cassius.
I was about to say, let's look at the guy holding the speaker, Cassius. Does everything taste like ash to you? That's a genuine question.
Do you eat ash?
What?
Long stare.
Win.
If looks could kill.
Okay. Cassius doesn't need any help cleaning his asshole.
Never did I think G-Day would also find comfort in someone like himself, aka Cassius.
It has a certain ashen undertone. Like as if someone had mixed ash into the food. not overpowering, but it's noticeable. So he eats diligently. Um, and after the first round of food has kind of been served, or rather, after he grabbed it, since it's kind of I think it's like a banquet style, where you just kind of grab it yourself, right?
I'm sorry.
Um,
Wait, what was that? What was that last bit? It cut out for
I
me.
I think this is kind of an open banquet style banquet,
Yeah,
where you grab it
there's
yourself.
servants. Yeah, there's a massive table, and there are servants walking around, basically consistently adding portions to the table as things
Yeah,
run out.
yeah. So after he grabbed his first round of food, anyone who particularly is looking out for him, because he definitely doesn't plan to stick out. That being said, he is wearing full armor, so um
That's fair.
yeah, so he sticks out even if he doesn't want to. Um, we'll notice that after he's done with his meal, his first round of meals at least, he kind of tries to mingle among the nobles, and he becomes increasingly anxious, and like hands fall into fists, kind of arms like trying to relax at the side. They're shaken lightly, and eventually he just resigns himself to the sidelines of the room where the guards are stationed, where he's much more comfortable, and now he's just watching everyone as if he was part of the guard force.
That
And
makes quite a bit of sense.
it's from that position
Mhm.
that he was witnessing the arm wrestling fight of the century, which is what led to him.
Clap, 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 clap. Mind you,
From,
it is a slight sound that rings out over the equivalent of the nursing home cheers as
yep,
as as boisterous old men and even some of the guards cheer at Tara's defeat. Finally, 15-0 is now been taken to 15-1, even if they both ended up on the floor.
Even if
With that,
Callistra still felt like she lost in some way that she can't quite place.
Would you say that Cassius is anywhere near where Faye is, and she's also kind of standing off awkwardly to the side, watching Tara's whatever she's doing now?
oh, absolutely.
So I think Faye is going to see that Cassius is kind of visibly anxious and tight, and she eventually works up her courage to kind of, sidle a little bit closer to him and be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
I think so.
of course I am.
Oh, he gives her a really short answer and she doesn't know how to follow up. She didn't think that far, so she just kind of goes, "Oh, okay."
Doesn't it grumbles to himself. I'm sorry. Been It's been a while since I've been a part of this kind of company, at least not as a guard. I'm not used to mingling anymore.
That's okay, neither am I. It's a little bit too lively in here for me, too. But it seems like it's winding down a little. Maybe,
Is
she
that
says as
fun?
she watches Tara.
Maybe.
Still on the floor.
The last time I attended a banquet such as this was in Villamari. Shareholders for a slave fighting ring. What's your opinion on slaves?
I
Who starts a conversation like
And she's completely taken aback by that one.
I asked if you were scared.
I think
You're
yeah.
okay.
She's
That's so
completely
funny.
taken aback by that one and just kind of stares at him for a very long moment, unsure of what to say. Probably
Who starts a
stuttering little bit.
conversation like that?
Can Charlotte just come in?
I think she's just gonna be like, I'm sorry?
Can Charlotte join the conversation?
Please.
But,
Yeah,
but,
please save
but don't-
Faye of
don't-
all
don't
things.
Please, let's invite an expert on the topic.
Just wanted to make sure he was okay, man.
Yeah,
How do you
Charlotte
feel about slavery?
after
I-
she's done with her little
sharing aspects about
networking
myself.
charade, she just
Oh.
joins. She just sees the two wallflowers and just waves herself with fans herself slightly, like, "Oh, what a party, right?" Who are you two?
Right. You seem to be enjoying yourself.
Of course, I'm nobility. Makes what I do.
Yes.
As
I've-
Charlotte just like slides in, Faye is just gonna like hunch down a little and just be quiet.
So I didn't quite catch your names. You two are.
Slowly cranes his neck down to look at Faye.
Right, stone grinding as ash falls
Yeah,
off of him.
yeah.
I knew
She's
it.
gonna look
Cassie's a stone
between you
golem.
two. She'll look between you two and just, Faye. My name's Faye.
Oh, that's a cute name.
Thank you. And she says nothing else.
And you, Mr. Tall, Gloomy, and Raggedy?
One second. I'm opening some. You're from Peral, yes?
Of course. Is it my outfit, or is it just my constant exution of elegance?
It's your obnoxiousness, actually.
Ah. So we're like that.
I've seen worse, actually. I should not insult you, especially since we will be traveling together.
Yes, you shouldn't.
I'm a bit high strung, I apologize. I'm not used to these kinds of gathering. Not anymore.
Well, what happened?
Oh no.
He just starts staring at me.
There! 8 years!
He breaks out into song.
That's when he actually
Turns
goes
into a musical.
into a rant about his fucking backstory.
Well, I haven't always been such a wretch.
Oh my god! Don't
that,
turn this into a
that
fucking
makes it sound
musical.
like he's going to break into a Disney song about his backstory.
No.
Well,
Not,
I haven't always been such a wretch.
no.
If it
Not
made me
Disney.
turn into this bum.
Not Disney. Les Miserables.
Oh, I hate you guys.
Or you could say
Oh.
late Miserables. But
Oh, I hate you even more now. God damn it. Oh,
so when are we getting the
Dude,
when are we getting the Empire musical?
honestly, I'll see what I can. I'll see what I can do.
Right.
I come back and I hear talk of the Empire musical.
Yeah, we're getting a musical ready.
And Cassius was about to break out the song about his back about his history.
Break by break, I will tear them down.
He just goes into his "I Want" song.
Suddenly, just like like phase one reprieve suddenly turns into a musical, and she's like, I just wanted to have a conversation.
I just wanted to make sure he was okay.
Are you doing okay? Do
Tara,
you like
help me.
slaves? Tara, help!
That's a conversation like that. What?
Oh my god.
Oh no, he's even worse than I am.
Oh, okay. So, if you ever make this campaign like a DLC, you need to include that moment.
Oh
Yeah.
god. Okay. Let me compose myself so I can answer the question.
Good lord.
Deep breaths.
8 deep breaths.
Yes.
What
Hold it
you
for 8
mean, big
seconds.
fella?
Big fella.
Let's just say a lot of people died.
Well, okay.
Yes, it's not a topic for a happy occasion. I will spare
Yeah.
you the details,
All right.
both of you.
Yeah, this isn't what I wanted to listen to, so I'm not going to continue asking.
I won't bother.
Either way, what a
Engage in
party,
your
huh?
engage in your frivolities, knowing that I will be watching. As a guard,
As a guy.
Faye looks incredibly uncomfortable now and just kind of moves away a little bit and like looks around for where Tara is.
Has anyone told you you're such a
Tara's
dick?
probably fallen asleep on the floor where she landed. Because she drank so much, she blacked out.
Pass the
She
fuck
she
out.
got a boner and then passed out.
Yeah, the listener's not
The
getting
best
near
part about
that.
that is Tara. Yeah, the best part is Tara, help me! He's just asleep on the floor.
it's actually hilarious. Child coming in actually saved Faye from a horrendously awkward, threatening line from Cassius. Had Charlotte not come in, his next line would have been, "I for one would love to strangle all of them." Like in the middle of a party.
Man, I love killing slavers. By the way, can you pass the wine?
Yeah.
Slowly turns towards the camera. I'm kidding.
Just like it's like just he's holding a glass of wine and he's just imagining throttling someone with it. It's just gently shaking in his hand,
I wonder what's going on in his head.
just gripping the neck of a wine wine bottle.
Slavers deserve little else. They deserve no sympathy. They deserve no camaraderie. They deserve none of my compassion. Have you heard of the High Elves?
The
Is this
IO.
correct?
So yeah,
Anyway, my
Oh.
best friend Charlotte.
Your
Well,
best friend, Charlotte.
I think Faye is going to locate Tara on the floor and see that as a way to escape, and she's just gonna awkwardly raise her hand a little bit and say, "Well, it was nice meeting you both. Have a good night," and just awkwardly shuffle over to Tara on the floor.
You as well. Night. Sleep well.
Why do you sound like Batman?
Who's Batman?
Long stare.
Oh,
A
Batman.
puff of ash from his mouth.
He's Ash Man.
Who's Ash, man?
I'm the ashen one. Look at my rollie in the Discord.
What a
Ever
chaotic little session already.
Yeah.
Ever since. Yeah, go on.
No, but you deserve to sing yourself. Really. Keep interjecting.
Ever since the day I awoke my medicine stage, you might have noticed that I am always followed by ash and soot wherever I go. It tends to cling to my very being. This includes small puff of ash from his mouth. My that. Drinking helps with it. Washes it down. Would you like to share a drink?
I mean, sure.
This is how this goes,
Oh.
right?
Oh my god, I ship it.
Oh no!
I don't think
You remind me
either
of
of
my-
them should.
You remind me of my
absolutely
dead
not.
daughter, whose ashes cling to my body.
Tara has
Uh.
been bad.
It's not Tara. It's not Siren. It's me.
It's me.
It's me.
Uh,
I'm the problem.
He's
I'm
he's
the
just like me.
problem.
He's just like me, for real, for real.
Oh my god.
And so it begins.
Lord in heaven. Well, with a shocking turn of drinking friends, drinking partners being Charlotte and Cassius, who I would have never expected to share anything other than blows, then
He's trying
wow.
his best, okay?
He's
trying
trying his
to be
best.
social.
Wait,
He's trying
he's
so
waiting
hard.
till the tournament's over.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That appears to be pretty much what I think everyone is spending the night doing. Yeah.
He was also trying with Faye. It's just that,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah.
I said hi and you asked me about slavery. What do you want from me?
Just,
I'm
you can
sharing
see.
information about myself.
Wait,
Isn't
wait,
that how
it's like
one
the meme.
socializes?
It's the guy where he like swallows a bunch of pills and goes, "Today's topic, slavery."
Slavery.
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah.
in the span of only
That is actually him.
in a span of only an
Very good.
hour, we have seen just how maladjusted the entire group is.
Yeah, this is.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
have.
We
Yeah,
got-
we have. Yep. We got you and Sala just just covering their food in different spices and testing them out.
Honestly, out of all of us, you and Sala are probably the most well-adjusted. The rest of us got issues.
Honestly,
me and you are just like conversing about the. Do you think this spice goes well in this slab of meat? No. I think this one goes well. It's more savory.
Abel explodes in the background. Like,
We're having like a hot ones conversation where we're just like discussing.
hot ones interview.
No,
Oh my god, Yushra somewhere in his spice blend has the equivalent of the last dab.
The
Yeah, no,
last,
he probably does.
the last pouch. It's
Oh
a tiny little
La-
bag.
the last
He has
pinch.
like he has like a little
That's
little
pretty good.
slip of paper that just says ultimate recipe. the
Ultimate
last
recipe.
Cassius
Oh my
actually
god.
has something that the boys would like potentially.
Hmm.
Wait, what?
There again. Cassius's culture is heavily inspired by, like, I think it was ancient Roman, right? Ancient
Yeah,
Rome?
yeah. Most of Alanost's culture, especially with places like Vilgena, have more of the ancient Roman, like Mycenae Greek aesthetic.
Yeah. So in ancient Greece and in ancient Rome, there was something called garum or
Oh
garum.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fucking loves that shit to get fermented fish sauce.
That shit's
Oh man.
really umptious.
Mm,
Scrumdiddlyumptious. Oh Lord. Well,
mm.
what a lovely, and this is why I'm so happy we got to have this scene, because my God, what a thing. Anyways, it appears it appears as though, at the very least, everyone has been spending their nights relatively well. You know, even G Day. oh, lonesome G Day in the corner, finally getting his first meal in what may be years. Everyone doesn't walk away bleeding, which is
Hold on.
so I heard you talking about slaves.
Hey,
That said,
dear
invite an
DM.
expert on the topic.
yes.
Take a gander in tavern menu.
My first reaction.
My honored.
For reference,
I'm not gonna
I may throw this up in the video itself, but it is a GIF of Will Smith scarfing down. I think it's AI generated Will Smith
It is
scarfing
is
down
AI generated.
piles of just
Ugh.
unflavored, unsauced spaghetti.
What's really funny, yeah, the real reason why Jide didn't talk to anybody wasn't because he didn't want
His
to, it was
mouth was
because he
full.
couldn't stop chewing.
His mouth was full. Like I was wondering, it's like, is he gonna like furtively pull down his face covering? So this man is just taking off all of his face covering and is just cramming like hors d'oeuvres and like
Non-food.
gastro food down his gullet. This man has not eaten a decent warm meal in months, more than like or years. So I don't blame him.
Genuine years.
This man has been in MaxSec for like years and not had a decent meal. So yeah, no, I don't blame him. Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes later. But yeah,
yeah.
So I assume you're funneling things over towards the night ending.
If he hasn't
Yeah, I'd
eaten
assume
a decent meal in years, then he's gonna have a bad time.
He's gonna have a horrible time in the
Oh,
morning.
that's gonna be
yeah,
it's
I was
gonna wreck him.
Yeah. What did you eat? I ate bog fish and
End of the
a dead
evening.
animal.
Did I stutter?
I have been eating
End of
nothing.
the
I've been
laboratories.
I have been eating nothing but catfish for the last 12 years.
Oh man.
All I taste is fish.
Well, regardless,
Mhm.
as everybody seems to go in their to their separate ways at the very least, or as the night begins to wind down and the food slowly stops being refilled and what's left has gone cold, and even servants are now being dismissed. Eventually, people are beginning to leave, shepherded out. It probably another hour or so, I would say, until everything's relatively done. And notably, of all of the guests and the I should say the time honored tradition of stuffing your face before a big adventure, as the night winds down, it would be Caspian who would step back into the room, because through everything he was notably absent for majority of the party, opting instead to stay on the balcony outside rather than to participate in the canoodling as it would be, whether unconscious as some may be with Tara, or those who will soon have horrific stomach issues like G-Day.
Ray, I feel the. I don't know. I would really hate doing this normally, but I feel the need to mention the fact that things like rubbing elbows and like socializing and stuff like that, those are perfectly fine. What's canoodling implies intimacy.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, canoodling.
I didn't know. Look, it's a bunch of old folks. You know how freaky they can get when they're on their own in
That's
their
true.
communities. I don't judge, but I'm just saying.
That's a fair point. They have they all have different colored like squeegees hanging off their
The
golf cart.
friggin' the pom poms.
Oh god.
So anyway,
anyways, fair point. Thank you.
What a gaggle of people.
Yeah. Regardless, as the festivities begin to wind down and everyone is, the table
Sure, I'll have
scraps.
some.
Oh no. As the scraps of the literal table that was broken and flipped over are swept up, and things begin to basically be placed where they need to be. Oh, I thought I lost sound for a second. As things begin to be put away and the party winds down, it's Caspian who enters the room and with a clearing his throat and kind of garnering the attention of any who are awake. Mainly, it's just you all left. And with a little nod, he goes, "I hope you all had a wonderful time. I can only hope that." And then he'll look down to Tara, at some broken table pieces.
What's going on?
It appears as though you had a wonderful time.
Oh, yeah. Had a great time.
Ballista will proceed to take one of the pitchers of water, pour a tall glass, and just like without looking Tara in the eye, extend the glass to her.
Thank you. And she chugs it in one gulp.
That's gonna hurt your tummy later.
Nah. She's a
Don't
cow. She's got
forget to
3.
Don't forget to smash the glass against your forehead now.
We don't. That's
No, she places it gently on the ground next to her.
Yes, accommodations. Yes, of course. Well, I would not put you up in some bog standard inn. We do have guest rooms here at the Spire. So, if you would be so kind as to follow me, we will get set off, most likely tomorrow morning. It would be best to get going sooner rather than later. Perhaps one more day to work off the hangovers. And he'll look back to Tara and then to Ballistra.
That would be appreciated, yes.
just look.
One day won't kill us.
Look of confusion.
Oh, that's fair, actually. You probably might not actually get away hungover. Regardless, Caspian kind of leads the way out, and as he steps over Tara, his boots kind of clack on the ground as he makes way for the grand doors, flings open the double doors, and then makes his way out and gestures you all to follow. And as he does, he turns and goes, "For those who want to take their time, it's just simply up the stairs. My servants will show you if you don't want to follow me." And he starts making his way down the hall.
Ballistra will follow, which is
Mm-hmm.
very slow, deliberate stride. Not at all just slightly listing.
Slightly.
Will attempt to help Tara up and follow as well.
Thank you.
Yusha's gonna follow as well.
Mm-hmm.
As will Sala.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Understandable.
Sala will nod in his direction and say, "Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure."
It's the least we could do. You are to be our champions after all. And it would be poor taste of me as a host to say, well, figure out where you're staying. It's fine. Regardless. For those of you who do not wish to stay here, however, I will be sure to comp any accommodations you may need, wherever else you may intend to go. Don't stay out too late. If we are setting off, well, and then he'll see Tara, being helped by Faye, and then he'll see Ballistra slightly drifting to the left, and he'll go, perhaps in 2 days. Regardless, let us go. And he makes his way up the grand staircase. This is a very tall building, and the way that the stairs are laid out, it's one large staircase and then twin stairs that kind of go up to the next floor, and then that pattern continues on. And as he makes his way up to the 3rd floor of this building, and he leads you all to a circular bed, guest rooms, basically. There's one room for each of you. As he turns and goes, we specifically created this wing with the intention of housing our champions when the time came. There have been several. In fact, I even stayed here once. So, by all means, sleep. Please don't destroy the place. I don't think anyone here is going to, but I always have to warn that I don't want the servants to be too upset.
We'll keep it nice and tidy.
It is appreciated. The rooms themselves are laid out, aside from anybody who is, I guess, not nobility, that being Charlotte, and potentially with Cassius as well. These rooms are nice. Massive beds. They're very soft. The linens are incredibly warm and cozy. It's got those draperies just hanging above it. And the entirety of the room itself, each of them has a balcony. But most importantly, it's just very well put together. A little dusty. It probably hasn't been tended to in about 10 years. But aside from that, very nice and relatively put together. Nothing seems to be left behind, at least right out the jump, but it's very bog standard. A nice large bed and a closet, basically, to place your belongings in before you leave. The question is, though, does everybody just go straight to bed, or does anyone have anything they'd like to do before the day ends?
Yes.
Oh,
I think Faye is gonna hesitate before her door and stop Tara before she goes in hers. She is not used to being alone and doesn't feel comfortable in an unknown place, so I think she was probably used to laying near Tara anyway on the farm from before. So she will stop her and say, is it alright if I stay with you instead, Tara?
Yeah, of course, Faye. Don't worry. I ain't got a problem with that at all. Come on.
Okay, thank you. And she will follow her.
that's sweet. That's very nice.
I imagine they sleep like Tar is literally like starfished and drooling and snoring, and then Faye is literally just on top of her, also starfished, like a pile.
I imagine Faye at the foot of the bed, rolled up like a cat.
I was gonna say, I imagine
awesome.
Tara taking up the entire bed, and then Faye trying to be polite, curled up in a ball way off to the side, just on the edge.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Or Tara can also sleep on the floor. She doesn't have a problem with that.
that's fair. Either way, it's funny. Anybody else? Is everybody content ending the night, or does anyone have any last minute plans? Is the real question. I will mention, by the way, Jide, that Jide, your room is flanked by guards. Yeah,
As
they're
expected, I have,
yeah.
for the first time in many years, feel the need of a food coma. So it is bedtime.
Oh no.
Are there bathing facilities?
Yeah, yes, there are. If you were to ask Caspian, he would point you down towards the large bathhouse, not necessarily a bathhouse, but a bathing facility. It's more of a group situation, but it's large, heated, and it's quite literally across the
It's
hall.
like an open bath.
Yeah, it's an open bath.
Okay, now she'll make use of that. She's gonna clean herself off. She's gonna oil the alcohol, the food, and the embarrassment off of her before
Wash away the shame.
just pulling on a simple pair of baggy pants and a top, returning to her room, toweling herself off, lapping the inebriation off of her face, and spending a couple hours meditating before going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Well, then it sounds like everyone else is ending the night. Then anybody else?
We don't have to go over
for
anything. But I'm assuming, did you show over here that we're probably going to take like a day's break because of the hangovers?
Yeah, no, he didn't even make. Yeah, Caspian literally said, "Let's make it 2 days," because he looked at the others and went, "Okay, maybe we'll make it. We'll take it easy. He's gonna be. His stomach's fucked. These two are blasted. All right, let's take it 2 days."
Yeah, I just did my nails. I need 2 days.
Oh God damn it, sure. But yes,
Well,
you sure would have heard this.
No, so we don't have to go cut to whatever I'm doing. But how far is the balcony off the ground?
You're basically on the 3rd or 4th floor of this like 5 or 6 floor building. It would definitely be a very painful fall.
Yeah, but I have a manifestation that can help me get from place to place.
That's fair. You also you're not trapped here. You are welcome to leave through the door.
Oh no, I figured. No, just you should just taking the easy exit out for.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, he's just gonna go. He's just gonna go like stroll around the city at night and just see what's everything's all about.
I might actually have to cut to that, but we'll explain that one.
You don't have to just get all the important stuff. This is just
No. I understand, but there's something happening tonight, so that's completely fair. But we'll get to that after everyone else. Does anyone else have anything right out the jump?
I heard a bat.
I know.
There is indeed a bath. It's a large public bath, something you might not be totally accustomed to, albeit it's relatively how do I put this? You would probably have had your own personal bath, Charlotte. This is just a step below that, where it is a large marble, like very well heated bath house in a sense.
I mean, noble bathhouses existed.
Yeah, exactly. Noble bathhouses exist, but you lived in the labs of luxury.
That's true. Noble bathhouses exist, and I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, noble bathhouses exist.
This is tolerable.
This is tolerable indeed. Is Charlotte also taking a bath?
Yes.
Very good. Well, Ballistra, you have company.
Oh, joy.
Hey, bitch.
Just
Anyway.
through the
Hey,
steam,
sister.
Ballistra is just, she's lowering herself into the water. Charlotte comes in, she takes a look over, and then turns back and just sits into the bath.
If you're wondering, yes, they do float.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
And just, Ballistra slowly turns, brings up one arm over the edge of the bath. Nobody asked, and nobody's interested in your ridiculously oversized balloons.
Oh my god, no, the trauma. The sister trauma.
If you poke a hole in them, they deflate.
No,
What a
I was
wish-
talking about these apples I brought, but I don't know what you're talking about.
You brought apples into the
Okay.
bath?
Yes, it's a refreshing bite.
Hmm.
They come in these little wicker baskets. They float on the water.
A look of genuine curiosity crosses Ballistra's face. Is Charlotte actually holding like a basket full of apples?
Like it's like more of a a wicker plate, like densely woven so that it can actually hold itself on the water. And on top of it are like apples and an assortment of cut fruit. All like if you would ever actually touch one, they're all just chilled to perfection.
I assume you can actually see that to a degree, because you can usually tell when something is cooled by like the perspiration and the sheen on it.
Yeah.
So she'll see that through the steam of the bath. I've never considered that for a bathing ritual.
So what were you talking about? Balloons?
I was just wondering about something that might carry somebody off, like an overinflated ego. Anyway,
I see. Well, I do not recognize that.
well, it seems that for the foreseeable future, we will be sharing each other's company. So I have no problem sharing the bathing space with you if you have no problem sharing it with me.
Of course not. Oh, by the way, my name is Charlotte. Kalashtaya.
She'll nod and say, Ballistra Sideris. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Oh. So, how did you find the welcome event of yesterday?
I assume Charlotte is at some point going to put her like into the bath herself.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, like Ballistra is going to just face forward. If she leans against the inside wall of the bath, lowering herself down, just kind of easing into the hot water. Well, the welcoming affair was unusual, though I don't usually attend such parties myself. I don't have much cause or opportunity to usually. It was interesting, and it was nice to sample such high quality food. I will say, though, the festivities were not what my mind was on. I find it a little bit concerning, the situation we've been tasked with. I thought.
All we're doing is what we're doing is essentially an overplayed tradition that's been happening every decade for the past how many years?
Well, yes, I wouldn't be complaining if that was just the case, but that's not the case. We were invited to partake in a tournament. What we have been given instead of one task, I was under the assumption we were just going to be walking to Thrall and fighting other Imperians. Instead, what I found us tasked with, and this is concerning to me, if for no other reason than the fact that this is more than we signed up for, is we are not only signing up to partake in a tournament after walking for half a year, we are also being tasked with the protection of the local governor, essentially, who will be traveling with us incognito, as well as the contents of the wagon that will be accompanying us, which is also the reward/tribute that Alanas is paying to the tournament. Meaning we have been given 3 tasks instead of 1, all 3 of which are essential, more than likely, to our ability to participate in the tournament. And I find this somewhat concerning, because I have gone from a wandering tourist who is capable in a fight to a wagon guard, bodyguard, and tournament fighter. I feel like there's perhaps a reason why the Lord of Alanas decided to do this. Why he felt the need to drop this on us when he could have mentioned this in the letter. And I find it somewhat concerning. And I am trying my best to hold my nerves about it.
I get your nervousness and your mild hesitation on the situation, but if Enelos wanted good fighters, they could have gotten anyone off the street. They want people who can adapt in unforeseen situations, given that we're going to be fighting in live combat with other manifestation users who we don't even know the abilities of. If we can't think on the fly, and if we can't even protect the backs of somebody who's going to be traveling with us, how many are we? How big is the party again? 7 to 1?
8.
8. If we can't protect somebody while we have 8 of us, how can we protect the back of our teammates when we're going to be fighting 2v2?
That is a prudent point, but also I need to remind you that this man is also someone who single-handedly won the tournament previously.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
if
he's
there's something out there that
experienced.
manages to attack and potentially harm or kill him, what is it going to do to us?
I should clarify. He didn't do it single-handedly.
Oh, okay.
He did have a team.
He did
Yeah,
have a team.
no.
Okay,
This,
so he
this man
did,
had a whole team.
okay, but he did manage to win the tournament and bring the championship back home to Alanas. Point being, this is not a hesitation on my part. I intend to see this through. I have committed myself to the duty, and I intend to see it out. However, I do not like being misled, and I didn't bring it up at the meeting because honestly, it's too late for complaints. But it bothers me that he feels the need to drop this on us when he could. He has a military who could escort him all the way to Alanost if he really needed it. No doubt there are other nations that are not above underhanded tactics and maybe looking for such things and attempting to assault them. Maybe they've got a surplus of Empyreans themselves that they might be able to sick on him. But we are going to be a party of 8, a party of 9, traveling on foot, meaning we will not be able to move any faster than the human feet can carry us. With a large wagon, which we will not be on, potentially painting us even clearer as targets. I get the distinct feeling we may be slightly underprepared.
Yeah, well, you put it that way. It sounds pretty bad.
I agree. And quite honestly, like I said, it's a bit too late to complain overly much about it, so I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm hoping that all of us will be able to rise to the challenge. Because if we don't, well, there are a few alternatives. Mm-hmm. What about you? What did you think of the welcome?
Well, I thought it was lovely.
You strike me as the sort who is accustomed to such events.
Of course. I am a noble after all.
Low nod from Ballistra.
Kalistaya and Pearl.
So you're familiar with our destination as well.
Yeah. It's my home, and where I said my goodbyes to my lovely, lovely family.
Well, in that case, it'll be I'm sure it'll be a warm welcome whenever we get there, and we'll get to meet them more than likely.
So I'm sure.
I myself recently did a trip around the continent, and I considered stopping in Peral, but it was a bit out of the way. Hmm. And also just recently fell under the ire of a group of traffickers, and I wanted to be out of that particular part of the world, not as quickly as humanly possible.
Oh, well, it's a good thing you escaped.
I tentatively agree.
Well then,
Silence
seems
for the
like-
rest of the bathing session.
the rest of the bathing session is completely done in silence,
Mm-hmm.
followed by the occasional of his
Lip
apple.
flash, I was
Of-
taking a bath.
Of Charlotte eating apples. Eventually, when Ballista feels her bathing is done, she'll do her best to slip out of the water without disturbing it as smoothly as possible, so as not to capsize Charlotte's apple platter.
Something so funny about Charlotte just having a fucking plate of apples in the back. It's perfectly normal. Don't judge me.
And funnier to me that she brings like a wicker platter with her just for eating apples in the bath.
The funniest bit is that there's no food in the bedrooms, so she had to have been pocketing apples from the,
Alternatively,
from
she
the-
could.
Stealing apples.
Alternatively, she could have just requested it from the kitchen.
Yeah, she most likely could have just genuinely requested them, but I think it's funny that Charlotte was the image of Charlotte just stuffing
Funniest-
apples down her shirt.
Funniest option. She brought them with her.
She brought
Just all this way.
Perfectly refrigerated in one of her bags.
Bags, me?
Oh, you're right. You don't carry bags. You're
No,
porters, dude.
I carry designer, honey.
Okay.
I don't carry bags.
Oh, okay. You're right. You already carry too much with you.
Mm-hmm.
My God. Anyways,
Separated gods.
But yes, Ballistra
Rich girl. We have a girl and several homeless people in this party already.
Oh boy. Yeah, no. Ballistra, and with that added interaction, has got that to process and meditate on before she turns in for the night.
well, Tara and Faye are together in one room. Ballistra and Charlotte have taken their baths and are most likely returning. Yushra has left, and to then finish it off, Jide, I assume, is going into a food coma. Well, then all we have then left is Cassius and Sala. Yeah.
Yes.
What are you two rounding the night off with? Are you guys finishing up and just going straight to bed, or is there something else you'd like to do?
I've been traveling for a long time.
Yeah.
I will be traveling for a long time again. I'm taking a fucking bath.
Understandable. Bathhouse part. I love to imagine that Ballistra's getting out as Cassian's walking in, and he steps his foot in, just gray.
It's just like as Cassius is passing her by, and she's got pants and a shirt on and like a towel around her hair. She looks to Cassius, sees him like occasionally drifting off bits of dust and ash. Takes a slight step to the side to make space and says, "It's just like careful. There's already a lady in there."
Stops, turns head. These baths are shared.
Sorry again?
These baths are shared.
They're open baths, yes. Oh, and don't comment.
Runs around.
She seems abnormally concerned with how they float. So if you must, don't ask about that.
I didn't mean to it. I turned it off.
Actually, yeah, Frey, are these co-ed or are they divided?
They do have a divider. Well, rather, I should clarify. They are co-ed, but there are private sections to these baths as well if you want privacy.
Well, in that case, Ballista will comment on that as she's like been in there and he's not. It's like the Imperious one, Charlotte, was it? Is in there. She's taking a bath herself. However, there are some divided private sections if you wish to take a bath by yourself.
Thank you very much for warning.
Yeah, it wouldn't do to wake up the next morning and have strife among our new team due to unwarranted accusations.
You're correct.
Long age
Charlotte
difference.
fully knowing
Good
that
night
the
to
place was co-ed the moment she entered.
Good night to you as well. I will see you in the morning.
In the morning, then. And yeah, Ballista will make her way to her room. There we go. Anime plot avoided.
Anime plot avoided. Pervert! What?
Bathroom explodes.
God damn it.
Detonates.
Like somebody else was about to step in the bath, completely falls like 3 feet down because the water is gone.
Into the crater.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. Cassius would disrobe until he's only wearing a towel, and then he would immediately head to one of the private baths.
Mhm. Very good.
And-
Is there
and
anything else?
it is
Yeah.
it is very much like what was talked around earlier. Like the moment his body enters the water, the entire surface becomes ashen as this layer just drifts off and disperses before sinking into the water.
Now, the real question is when he does that, does it actually clean his skin of the ash, or is it just a permanent stuck?
Temporarily, it does.
Oh, wow.
Come morning, it'll be back, but only a very fine layer. It builds up over time.
Oh, I see. Slowly cursed.
So, did I miss something, or do we have Kratos in our team?
You absolutely have Kratos.
Heavily inspired by it. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Boy. He's not in his boy arc yet, though. He's on the I'm gonna kill my dad and all my family members arc. So, except,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Cassius is still on his Zeus arc.
Ares!
Ah. Well, then.
I'm actually, if we're talking actual inspiration, think more Rise, Son of Rome. I am Democles.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are next.
Yes. Such a baller game.
Hella underrated game.
I love that game. Well, then, I think that just leaves Sala.
Yeah, Sala for his part, when he's shown his room, he's gonna take one look around, and he's not quite used to the opulence that's shown off in rooms like this, so he's a little in towards it. He considers putting a lot of his stuff down, but he thinks to himself and decides, maybe a little nighttime stroll around the city will do for now. And he will head out and take a stroll around the city, basically. Have a look around.
What's the
What's
deal with
really-
both of his rooms just breaking out of the rooms at night?
Mind you, breaking out is not the proper term because you were allowed to leave.
I
You just-
know.
It would only be
Yeah,
the
no,
correct turn of phrase if it was G-Day.
Yeah, G-Day is not allowed to leave until he's on the road with the rest of you, and that's because, they're still not sure if he's going to try and take off, but they're pretty sure he won't. Um,
Sala feels the wanderlust kicking in again.
you haven't
Yeah,
really
takes a
gotten to
stroll
explore
back out
Alanos,
into the
yeah?
streets. Yeah.
Well, then the real question is, who leaves first, or would Sala and Yushra be leaving around the same time? Because I think that that's hilarious.
No, Yushra would literally like walk into his room, look it around, and then immediately go to the balcony and throw it and leave.
And so I'll probably see that. Yeah, so I'll probably see that. Probably say, he's got the right idea, and he'll just head out as well.
Yushra, how are you getting down from the balcony?
It's called throwing my little tags onto nearby parts of the buildings, having my and then like teleporting to them.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And Sala's just walking.
And Sala's being lame and walking. Yeah.
Then
Get down here. I took the stairs.
Oh yeah. Hang on.
walk.
Yeah. Hang on. I need to spice this up, and I go into console commands and I hit no clip.
I hit the no clip.
Sala just falls through the world. He just falls.
Just casually phases through the floor.
Anyways, with that,
It
Sala
goes into
meets the world.
creative mode.
Yeah, it goes into creative mode later. Anyways,
What do
I
you
guess
mean later?
I guess you could technically do like electromagnetism, depending on how you wanted to go with it, and just start floating. It doesn't matter. I'm getting way too.
He starts surfing on like a lightning bolt through the air.
Okay, Silver Surfer. Anyways, you're probably the first one to get out of there. Then Asala is probably getting himself all situated, and as you step out onto the balcony, Yushra, you can hear voices, albeit very faintly. They're coming down from the main courtyard on where you entered. It doesn't sound like an angry conversation. It just sounds like someone is talking down in the courtyard. I assume, though, that you really don't much care, and you're probably heading out towards the city itself.
Well, now you make me want to care.
Well, it's okay. Sala's going out the front door. He can't avoid it.
That's fair. But no, probably in character. Yeah, no, he probably wouldn't really care that much. So he's just gonna.
Fair enough. You hit the town, and Sala, I'll be coming back to you. Actually, I will go to Sala because you guys are going to the same place.
Yeah.
Sala, as you make your way down, you leave through the room, you head down the 4 flights of stairs. You round around, you go straight. You round around, you go straight, and then eventually, as you make your way out through the front door, you hear the voices too. And as the doors slide open for you, as the servants and the guards kind of pull it away, give you a little half bow, some reverence at the very least for what you're doing. The doors open, and in the courtyard, you see Caspian, and he seems to be speaking with another noble gentleman, a little bit older, though you can't necessarily make it out. It's evening at this point, and though it's lit by torchlight and fire, there is notably a bit of an air around him, and their conversation kind of cuts as you open the door. They both kind of stare and look at you. The other man, who you've not recognized, is about middle-aged, a little older than Caspian. Caspian's probably around his mid to late 40s. This man's most likely in his 50s, and he stands with a cane, kind of holding himself up proper. Not that he necessarily needs it, more so as a piece, a little bit of flair and panache. Oh yeah, thank you, my love. You hear and I cannot thank you enough. You've done us a great service, though I frankly don't know why. But the man raises his hand and goes, "You can repay it at another time. For now, just consider it a favor, one that I will cash in soon. And at the very least," and the door opens, and they both turn to look at you and stop talking.
Don't mind me, just going for a walk.
Yes, be safe, Sala. It is any other night in Alanast, but the festivities and the champions running through the town have gotten people excited.
I'll find my way around. Thank you.
Indeed, and don't be gone too long. I need to find you in the morning.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Indeed. The other man gives you a slight nod. He doesn't necessarily speak to you. He doesn't necessarily even seem necessarily all that interested in you. But with that little nod, he kind of gives you a little glance up and down. Doesn't necessarily seem to care too much, but the most notable thing about him, and it's something that would actually give me a perception check.
Will do. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, where are you? There. 3 successes and 2 crits.
Very nice. 5 is exactly what you had to hit, anyways.
Haha.
It's nighttime. And this is an important thing because even though it's a little bit difficult to make out the man's appearance until you walk basically past him, the one thing that cuts through the dark, the one thing that's incredibly noticeable almost immediately, is that there is a bright white glow from his eyes. Almost like beacons, little fires.
He's got glowing eyes.
Yeah. At first, it gives you memories of a hunter, back on the sands of Visra, glowing eyes of something reflecting at you, but they are glowing. He still has normal irises and whatnot, or rather, he still has the whites of his eyes are completely fine. He still has pupils, but you can make out that white, bright ring of color, or rather, the lack thereof, because it's white.
Yeah. Sala recalls from his travels that predators in the night probably have similar like eye shine, reflected by moonlight. So Sala takes a note of that. He's a bit put off by it, but he does not acknowledge it.
As you get a little bit further out of earshot, you hear the other man speak. We will speak later, Caspian. And do stay alive, please. Yes, we have much need of you later. Of course. Thank you again. I didn't get your name. I didn't give it. And then you're out of earshot. Now, you, Yushra and Sala, the night of Alanost, or rather the main street that you all just earlier that day had tore through, is relatively still active, albeit it's getting late, so it's not as busy. But as you make your way through the streets, the smooth stone path, and as you branch out some cobbled paths along with it, there are still some businesses open, some taverns that are open, places to rest your head. Mainly that's it. There's no shops open at this time. And aside from the occasional drunk who's left over, you can tell that there was some celebration and revelry going on while you were all at the banquet. There's remnants of broken cups, there's sleeping bums on the side of the road, there's some debris from both food waste and whatnot. It was clear that even with the smell of booze hitting your nose as you walk down the main road, both of you, the real question is, where are you both going? Are you going to meet up with each other and then just travel around tonight?
I mean, if we do end up meeting up, yeah, sure, but Yushra was just gonna literally do the same thing, stroll around, not really look for anything, just walk around. It's nothing like major.
That's completely understandable. I'm going to ask you both something weird.
Yes.
Make a fortune roll. Like, go to your fortune roll specifically. Is fortune a thing that you can roll in the sheet? I believe it is.
We regained a fortune dice, yeah.
Yeah, this is not a fortune dice specifically. This is not me asking you to get your fortune dice, your fortune die. I specifically need it as if it was a skill roll.
Wrong, bitch.
And yeah, you can roll your fortune.
So what would I
The
roll
real
for
question
that?
is, I think, is it there on the sheet?
can't
If it's
roll
not, that's fine.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Just roll that.
I got nothing.
I
Oh,
got
that's-
a single success.
0 success, 0 crits.
Well, that's completely fine. The both of you end up rounding out the night, wandering about. You may not even bump into each other as you just kind of explore the sprawling city of Alanost. It's nice. Very nice, especially for people, well, I guess for you all who lived in Visra. Visra is not necessarily a hospitable place. It's a country of ruins that are not allowed to advance beyond them. Moreover, it's well maintained. There are guards still positioned, even though it's this late into the evening. There are men in armor sitting on almost, I wouldn't say every corner, but they are patrolling the near empty streets. You hear some chatter through the guards as you eventually walk past them. They're having casual conversation, and aside from the occasional drunk, or the even less occasional homeless refugee that may be standing out of place, you all are having a relatively unnotable night, and the night rounds out with just a little exploration of the town and getting to know it a little bit better. The passing through housing and living quarters, going over some canals. It's a nice, refreshing place to be, especially for you, Yushra, who went from Visra to wandering all the way down to the hell that is Linamar. So that's good. Yeah, you guys.
Wow, a night without fighting giant monsters. Whoa!
I didn't expect you guys to get into a fight. It was just to determine something else that I can't say. Regardless, it'll be all good.
What was said indeterminate thing loud? Could we have heard it joking?
No, it wasn't anything like that. Anyways, with that being said, the night rounds out. I assume you guys eventually make your way back home and sleep comes.
Yep. Yeah, essentially, I'll just throw up one of my tags back up towards the balcony and just go hop right back in.
I just assume Saul walks back in.
Yeah. Sala, when he walks back in, he's actually going to set his stuff back down in the room. He's actually going to go take a bath as well.
Oh, wow. Saul doesn't stink.
It's meanwhile, it's like 4:00 in the morning.
Charlotte is still in the bath.
She fell asleep in the bath or something.
Sala might wander around a bit, but even he understands the importance of cleanliness.
Good. Well, that being the end of your first night in Alanost, both with competing in a race and more so trashing the main street, to having a banquet and rounding out with a relatively nice, peaceful walk for some of you, and a damn good night's sleep on probably some of the comfiest beds that almost any of you have ever slept on.
Rami
Ever.
brought up one good point. Fortune only rolls one die. If you roll fortune.
Okay, that's good to know. See, yeah, so that's something that we can make a note of for the future. Specifically, Lynn, is that we'll add the ability fortune as anything. Actually, no, that's fine. That was a specifically weird roll. We'll make it we'll make it something different.
Honestly, if we can't figure out a way to make it work, really, we still have a dice roller bot. We can just roll 40-10 or whatever.
Yeah, I can just add the dice roller bot. I didn't add it in because we had the sheets. But yeah, good point. It's not a major thing, and frankly, it's not even in the rules. It's just something I threw together real quick on a whim. But totally understandable.
As if if just your luck take a decent turn, it's a decent way to determine it. Just roll your luck, basically.
That's actually a good point. We'll see about adding that later, Lynn. I trust you.
Actually, also add that into the rulebook. Who knows?
Yeah, I might actually put that in the rulebook. That's a damn good point as to what we can roll. Regardless, the night winds out without issue. By the time that Sala and Yushra arrive, Caspian is long to bed, and at this point, Sala, you are the only one in the bath, I can assume, because it's basically 4:00 in the morning, and dawn is set to break through the night at some point. Sleep comes, and determined upon when you all wake up, it's really up to you all how you want to spend the next day before you leave. If there's anything you'd like to do in Alanost before it's time for you all to depart.
Honestly, it's just gonna be probably a repeat. Not really necessarily repeat. Like you should probably just gonna go out in town, see what's going on, go back to the palace, and that night he'll rinse and repeat. Essentially,
I mean, that sounds about right. If anyone has anything specifically they'd like to do on their one free day in Alanost that isn't revolving around running and sprinting. Let me grab something real quick.
On this very fine day, I am running and sprinting.
Of course. This makes walking down the main street. Caspian goes,
You know what I
I'm
really
gonna
feel
run.
like? I really feel
running
like 100
running
meter
around
dash.
at the speed of sound.
Can I go shopping?
You're welcome to.
Yeah, there'll be some interesting things on offer, at least for Charlotte. Whatever will be here in Elenos will be very different from what was on offer for all.
Yeah.
That's true.
Cassian, the ash hog. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Shut up. Well, then that's a decent thing that we can do. If Charlotte's going shopping and Ballistra may also be, where are you doing, Ballistra? Let's just go down the list, see what everyone's going to do with their free day before we set off.
I would like to add I had it. The Cassian the Dust Devil. Cassius the Dust Devil.
Dust Devil.
Ballistra might like to go ask around a little bit, actually, in the city. She's here.
Oh.
She's kind of kicking herself that she, while she was off and around, she wasn't asking anything about the tournament. It's definitely like it's a topic of conversation, in, like the overall continent. But like you said, it's not like, as far as I get it, it's not something that's brought up often. It's not.
It's brought up, once every decade, basically.
And it's not discussed openly very much because it's a blood sport. It's not exactly polite conversation.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of kicking herself for maybe not inquiring more. Because it's a once a decade tournament that she's like, oh man, one of these days I'd like to participate in that just to test myself. And then she gets a direct invitation for it. The moment her trip is finished, she's like, I really wish I had asked around. At the very least, she could ask. She could ask Cassian. However, she's gonna have the entire trip to pick his brain. So what I think she'd like to do is ask around the city a little bit and see what people know about the tournament. See what people know about maybe any contestants, because there's rumors about Nostra breaking off, doing their own thing, and it's just when there might be rumors from abroad of any particularly noteworthy manifestation users, Empyreans, who we might end up facing, who they might be aligned with. That's
not a bad idea. There we go. Let me double triple check something. And now, so here's what we'll do. We'll go down the list and we'll get what everyone is doing. I will. Sorry, I'm also heating up something. A quick bite to eat for Addie while I do this.
How dare you?
Good.
I know. How dare I tend to my child? There we go. So Ballistra's going to go ask some questions. Charlotte's going to look for shopping opportunities. Sala and Yushra, I assume, are just doing their one thing again.
Since I messaged it to you already, because I forgot.
I did get that too. Yeah.
Later in the evening, when everyone's done with everything, Yushra is going to call for a meeting, and that's about it.
That's completely understandable. Alrighty, so later into the evening, Yushra is going to call everybody together. But yeah, Sala?
I was about to say, Saul's probably going to do something similar to a Ballistra. He's going to go into town. He's going to go around and chat with people, ask around about anything really. Since you've never been in the city before and he's new here.
Understandable. What about Faye, Tara, and G-Day? What about you? What about you guys? What's the plan here?
I think Faye is gonna wait on Tara, make sure she's feeling well. How is Tara feeling this morning? She'll get her breakfast and make sure she's okay.
That's a good
that
question.
determines what I do next.
That is very sweet. But Tara, she's like sleeping in because of the hangover. But as breakfast is brought for her, she sits up and she kind of rubs her eyes and she's got bedhead and she yawns wide. She's like, God, my head. Oh, thank you, Faye. You didn't have to do that, but thank you.
Of course. So she will wait on Tara for a while and make sure she's feeling okay, and then I think Faye is probably gonna go shopping for herbs and salves and medicines and stuff for the journey.
Understandable. That makes plenty sense to me. Tara, what about you? Are you just going to spend the day nursing a hangover? Or are you going to accompany, or are you going to accompany Faye? Is the question.
You know what? She's after breakfast. Gonna see what kind of hangover remedies she can muster for herself, and then yeah, she'll accompany Faye. She'll head out with her.
Probably
Well,
go
Faye
with
wouldn't
Faye to
go.
find the yeah,
If she wasn't
yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, the real question. Well, actually, what that would probably end up being is you probably go with Faye to try and find a hangover cure. Honest to God. Regardless, with that,
Girls
GD
shopping hour.
girl shopping hour.
I shop for clothes. Faye shops for medicine, and Tara, I shop for clothes.
What would Tara shop for?
Women.
Yeah.
Oh god, she does go window shopping for that quite a bit. Hmm.
Arch just
Regardless,
any like any chick she meets just while walking around just
Mhm.
pick up.
Understandable. Well then, what about you, Cassius? What are you up to today? NG Day, of course.
Well, first, Cassius would attempt to catch Faye in the morning. For that purpose, he is standing in front of her door, which
Oh
she
God,
doesn't know she is in.
Jesus. Oh my
that's so funny.
Steps out the door. Hey girl, want to talk about slavery?
So about our conversation yesterday, I see that we
Answer
didn't
me,
get
it's like,
Well, considering that Tara and Faye's rooms were basically right next to each other and they're there, I would assume by the time that they're ready to leave, you would be able to see that Faye and Tara are stepping out of the same bedroom.
like as they come out, he's literally standing there, hand raised to knock at her door.
Well, Faye
Oh.
is going to come out after Tara, and she's
Mhm.
going to see Cassius and just kind of hide behind her.
What? Can I help you?
Potentially, yes. And he tries to look past Tara at Faye. This is precisely what I wanted to talk about.
She accompanies his gaze to cover Faye as he's like trying to look past her, so he can't look past her. Faye, is he all right with you?
She's going to peek out and look up at Tara and then back at Cassius. Yes, we met last night and said hello for a few moments.
I
It's
wanted
good
to
to see you again.
apologize. I believe I made you uncomfortable today.
She'll just kind of look at the floor and back up at him.
I
It's
wasn't lying
all
when
right.
I said that I was high strung yesterday. But I did notice that you meant to ease my tension. And I appreciate it. I apologize that I did not manage to reciprocate kind. That is all I wanted to say.
She will nod slowly and kind of come out from behind Tara. I appreciate that, and I hope you're feeling better this morning.
I do, yes.
Good.
Thank you very much for asking. And good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
She takes a really long time to say anything else, but manages. What will you do with our free day today?
I have no idea. I will be honest. I don't normally have time off. Do you have any plans?
She will take another really long moment and look up at Tara and kind of lose her nerve and say nothing else.
We were just figuring, taking a look around, maybe do some shopping of provisions or other goods for the trip ahead, I guess.
Preparation. Yes, that makes sense. It is a good idea. Would you mind if I follow you?
Not at all. Just, behave yourself.
I will keep my distance.
Much appreciated.
I will. Let us have breakfast then.
I already had mine. Faye, did you eat?
No, not yet. I was more concerned about you.
Well, now it's your turn. We gotta go eat. And onward, she trudges, bringing Faye along with her.
She drags so long. What sort of stuff is served for breakfast here, Fray? If you can hear me.
I was muted. Damn it. Yeah, no, I was.
Yep.
God damn it. I was asking. Anyways, fair enough. Well, to answer your question before I follow what the fuck I was saying, the breakfast is actually relatively more of a hearty thing. Some sweet biscuits, some just more of a hearty like eggs and it's a general spread that's been left out in the banquet hall. Definitely not as lavish as the day before, but the servants had expected more people to come down, and nobody else did, most likely. Or if they have, they've gone passing through. But it's definitely full of a lot more savory foods, meats. Primarily take up quite a bit of it. Some starches, like I said, biscuits are there. Things to kind of get you going for the day. It's more of a traditional meal out here in the western side of Kalan, simply because of most of the people here are working fields or they are doing things for themselves, and because of that, they like to eat full breakfasts. So it's one of those type of situations, almost what you'd find in a, I don't want to say like an American breakfast joint, but it's definitely more hearty than light.
Absolutely acceptable. Honestly, Cassius unfortunately is used to stuff like hardtack.
Well, this is better than hardtack, at the very least. While
Yeah.
you guys stock up and eat. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I was fucking muted again. As I pace around. Yeah, as it tends to be. But regardless, while you guys grab your food and whatnot, I can ask the question. G-Day, you're the last one I can ask. What is your plan for the day? You are able to travel. You just have to be accompanied by the guardsmen while within the city, at least for this beginning phase. G-Day's G-Dead. I actually think G-Day's dead. Damn it.
He is muted. I don't know if he's talking.
He's too busy stuffing his face again.
He's eating again. He hasn't moved from this spot. He actually fell asleep down here waiting for the next meal. And that's my headcanon until he's done, until he's back. Well then. That's fine. While we wait for G-Day to come back, whatever he may be doing, which is totally fine. I guess this is when I can turn to the others. Well, while we get it going, let's do the shopping trips first, because asking around is going to take a little more time, and I'd like to make sure that we get that done first. So, starting off with Charlotte, because she's probably set off bright and early. What is specifically you're looking for? Are you looking for clothes out here? Are you looking for something real fancy schmancy, or what's the plan?
I'm looking for whatever's trendy.
Whatever's trendy. That's fair. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but out in Peral, which is in the lap of luxury, basically, the majority of the trade that comes through Tarshik with their notable goods and their artisanal goods, it's all focused in Pearl. If you're looking for something trendy in Alanost, you're going to be hard pressed to find pretty much anything. The sad reality, I wouldn't necessarily call it sad, is that the people of Alanost, though they live well, they don't live lavishly, and that's generally by design. There are tailors, there are some outfits that you can find that are there. There's, bags and whatnot. There is some small trinket shops that sell a more, well, less collision, I should say. When you're in Peral, you live as the Colesians would. In Alanost, their culture's a little weird. There are some Colesian elements. There's the usual things that you would expect to see. The occasional bit of Colesian pearl trinkets that are markedly highly priced. And some general statues, carvings of some of the old gods that used to be worshipped here. More so nowadays seen as little gag gifts, if anything, rather than idols to be worshipped, which is kind of fucked up when you think about it. But more than that, you do find one thing in Alanost than you would find anywhere else. And if you're looking for trendy, you won't find it. But if you're looking for something, I guess, unique, well, then that's something that you can only find in Alanost. And that specifically are the junk traders. You basically would have to go thrifting. Is that something Charlotte would even do?
I mean, no.
I'm sorry.
What if someone managed to convince her that the equivalent of pawn shops and thrift shops is what's trendy in Alanost?
That's actually fair, yeah. That is kind of the trend. These junk shops, as they're often called, thrift stores, whatever you may want to properly call them, they don't sell secondhand goods. They do, but what's a good way to put this?
Upcycle?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. These people go out into the less explored regions. They come back, some of them go to Linamar and they buy goods from there. These people specifically work in the salvage of ruins. Depending on where you come from is dependent upon what you'll find. It's really only prevalent here on the western states, and even then, aside from stuff like Glorian and Crestino, you probably won't find many like this, and Linamar, but nobody wants to go to Linamar. That place is fucked. These people work towards the death fog. Yeah, it's true. It's better than Visra. It's better than Elicoso. A couple of places that are relatively more fucked, but I digress before I go off on a tangent. These people specifically go into the ruins of Aryan settlements that they can get close to. These people go into the ruins of old Sinakaran settlements that once expanded throughout these places, and they sell artifacts. They sell little trinkets. They sell pretty much whatever they can get their hands on. It's not for clothes. It's little bits of jewelry and flakes of Aryan silver and these things that won't necessarily be found anywhere else. At least for you, Charlotte, you've probably never seen anything like that. If you were to go, you may just turn your nose up at it and go, disgusting, ew, and that's completely fine. But you would, at the very least, be pointed in that direction should you ask.
Playing the character. I'm not me, so I wouldn't do. She wouldn't do that.
Yep, she would be pouty and then not happy that there's nothing nice and fashion here. Yeah, no. If you want to find anything nicely made, it is literally all, you left the hills. Like you left Beverly Hills and came down to like
Los
the
Angeles.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah, somewhere like that. You know, you basically came out to a city. It's a damn nice city, but you're not going to find the fancy thousands upon thousands of sill that it would cost you to get things.
Welcome to Boston.
Welcome to Boston. Get out. Yeah, no. Well then, with Charlotte's unfortunate, actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to start using this. Go ahead and make a fortune roll for me. Since it only rolls one, what's your fortune rank, Charlotte?
My fortune rank is 3.
Roll 3d10. Or if you want to on the sheet, you can just go click, 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 and give me the results.
Okay. 1 success, 0 success, 1 success.
Actually, that's not too bad. Well, Charlotte, thankfully, at the very least, your luck turns around a little bit while you're working. And there's a nice tailor who will see you walking past and goes, "That hat is gaudy."
Thank you.
God damn it.
I mean, what do you
Uh,
expect?
yeah, no, I know. It's just really funny. Thanks. God damn it. Ah. It's an older woman. Not completely decrepit, but I would say mid 60s, maybe even late 60s. Kind of shambles out for her little tailor shop and goes, "Honey, what is this? How do you get around?"
What do you mean? This is the what's it called? This is the attire for Kalashtai nobility.
She's gonna like pinch the fabric like at your chest and go, "It's so tight."
Thank you.
You're coming in here, and she's just kind of gonna drag you by the pinched bit of your clothes into the tailor shop.
Thank you. I have to use my manifestation just to breathe.
I'm secretly dying. The woman will spend the next 2 hours trying to easily taking your measurements because because your damn clothes are so tight, and immediately start trying to throw together clothes for you. And by the time that she's done, she puts together what you could only imagine as I can't imagine Charlotte wearing this. A nice little flowy gown. Not fancy, not pretty, kind of what you would expect out of like a farmer's wife. She goes, "Now that looks comfy." It looks like something your great grandmother wouldn't even wear.
That looks. This
Oh
what?
damn it! I can't hear anybody.
It's quiet. Hello?
Hello.
The Bluetooth device.
He's reconnecting.
Hello.
There we go. Sorry about that. My mic has just stopped working. I I couldn't hear anything. Where did I cut off?
You didn't.
Wait,
Oh.
you what do you call it? You described it as being, "Oh, that looks comfy," and then that's right around when you stop
Oh
hearing
yeah.
us.
Yeah, I think
I
I think you
quite
didn't
literally
hear us,
stopped
but
hearing you.
yeah, I think you didn't hear us, but we heard you. We
Oh,
heard.
good. Yeah, no. Long story short, it looks like something that even your great great grandmother who lived on the prairie wouldn't wear. It's it's not something for you and your high fashion eyes. That's disgusting. It looks like the farmer's wife had to patch up the potato sacks.
This what is this?
A dress, dearie. Please, please, you need to breathe.
I I mean I could read it. This isn't this I've been taught to respect my elders, but this, frankly, isn't it.
Listen, trust me, you're gonna love it. Take it. Take it. And you'll see. And you'll come back. You'll come back and you'll come and see. And you'll thank me. I promise.
All right. How much is it?
I said take it. I can't stand to look at you wearing something that tight. I can't even breathe.
You say so. Spooky cave sound.
Fair enough. Yeah, no. She you were given the potato sack dress and she waves you out the door.
I'm gonna need a picture to see how ugly this is, man.
Yeah, I'm already working on it, don't worry. I was working on that as I was getting it.
I got 2 stacks of amethyst.
2 stacks? Oh, okay. What? I was really confused.
It's part of Minecraft.
Okay, I'm playing Cobblemon. This here was not sponsored by Cobblemon, but I quite enjoy it. So I'm gonna
Fucking
say
hope not.
Damn it.
Cobblemon. For the Mons and the Cobble.
Moving on.
Moving on. Anyways, here I'm literally just gonna. I literally googled ugly farmer dress. I'll put it in tavern menu what you're working with here, and you can let your mind fill in the blanks.
This is a lesson in humility. Or something like that.
It's a lesson in humility. It's more so this old woman does not understand modern fashion.
She's a traditional old lady.
Oh, it's sent twice. That's fine.
Oh,
Disgust,
that's
like,
kind of cute.
is it? Okay.
The first one, not the second one.
Yeah, it is probably more akin to the first one, anyways.
The
She's
first
basically
one,
got like
the first one
farmer's
is the first one is Dorothy. The second one is
Agatha.
grandmother. Yeah, no. It's definitely more akin to the first one, but I don't think it's something Charlotte would wear.
Yeah, no, she's not House on the Prairie. She's
Yeah, she's Little House on the. She basically gave you the Little House on the Prairie dress. But anyway, she
she's not
sends
Little
you
House
your
on the
way.
Prairie. She's Big House on Beverly Hill.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bitches, the big bitches from Beverly Hills. Anyways,
That's a huge
the other shopping people. That was Charlotte. Now, who else was going shopping? Just to kind of like scout out the areas. I remember it was Faye, Tara, and Cassian. Was there anyone else?
Well, while we're on the topic, Ballistra would, I think, is part of the whole asking around. Also, try
Be
and
also shopping.
also be
yeah.
shopping for food because they're gonna need provisions on the road, and she's gonna be one to cook, so she's gonna need ingredients. At least she knows now that they have a wagon where she can at least like throw any heavy ingredients she brings with her on it.
Now, to clarify, I will say that Caspian didn't say anything about a wagon. He just said that he was bringing the reward. Didn't
Oh,
specify
okay.
what they were.
Okay. In that case, it was just Ballistra assuming that there's going to be something to carry the reward, which is obviously going to be something big and heavy. You know, obviously.
Obviously.
But yeah. In that case, nothing further to add. Just she would go shopping for ingredients.
Understandable. That makes sense. Well, actually, that would kind of line up with Faye and Tara and Cassian. At least they're looking for more medicinal herbs, but it's an herb thing in general. So them being used, that
Wait,
would be fine. That's actually
you look
perfect.
back in history. Herbs used in medicine were often the same herbs used in cooking.
Yeah,
So,
precisely.
it
My
lines
thought.
up.
With that
Why
being
Solomon
said,
was covered in them.
yeah, Solomon was literally covered in like rosemary.
The wise man's herbs.
With that in mind, well then that actually checks out. I suppose then that I can kind of bunch you all together, at least in the beginning, and then I can have solid. Though Yushra specifically's moment is going to be with the meeting called. That'll be good. So the rest of you, aside from Sala and Yushra, You all, it's fairly early into the morning, and the streets of Alanost are bustling. You may even spot Charlotte on the main road going from business to business. These are one of those situations where the buildings are not separated. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They're almost built in a single line. Not necessarily like a, well, actually, I suppose a strip mall isn't like a terrible way to look at it, but these don't have dividing walls. There's usually doorways that let you walk in from store to store. There's a general accepted, like, maybe there's a curtain or something along those lines. But overall, it's very much a, you can find yourself walking into one store and you go in for herbs, and then you take 3 or 4 steps in and you're in a furniture store. It's very open concept for all of these stores, at least on the main route. And presumably that's where you would all end up first, as Ballistra would set off, and later Tara, Faye, and Cassian would most likely arrive at a nice, small, little cozy shop, only marked not by a name, but by a carving of a mortar and pestle. And just attached to the marble slab on the outside of this open door, sitting behind the counter, is a lovely, elderly man. I would properly say elderly. And with him, sitting next to him, is a younger woman, probably about in her, no older than Ballistra, honestly. Who are tending away. They both look relatively well dressed. In fact, they look slightly different than the normal denizens, wearing, multiple layers and whatnot. These people are wearing just simple robes and aprons. As the old man is in the back, you hear the crunching of the mortar and pestle going, and as you enter, even though there's no bell, he can hear the footsteps, and without even looking, goes, "Welcome on in, please. Take a look around. Whatever you need, my granddaughter will be here to help you."
So Faye is gonna stick really close to Tara as they enter the shop. Very
Tara's
uncomfortable
gonna.
with the. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue.
Very uncomfortable with like how bustling the city is. But as soon as she sees the contents of the shop, she will light up and detach from Tara, and go explore and look for what we might need. What can we find here, Frey?
Finding here, I will say you'll find the general, the basics for starters. Rosemary's, garlic, stuff that you would usually use in, with like helping with blood flow and whatnot, helping close up wounds and whatnot. That's for starters. Now, there's a couple of things that are specifically native to this region that do notably catch your eye. You're not necessarily too far away from Alanost as it is, but you aren't. You're coming from Enyani, and to my memory, I don't remember you guys much necessarily leaving Enyani once you got there. And Enyani was strange because, oh, because at the very least, Enyani was a it was very Tarshiki influenced. There were still some herbs and spices from Enyani that came originally from Tarshik that were starting to be grown. But Alanost is weird. Also, let me know if I start cutting out. um, Alanost specifically doesn't necessarily have anything out of the ordinary. You have your barleys, your wheats, and whatnot, and the generals of, like I said, garlics and rosemary, all the like. But they do have some strange additions that are actually kept in cases, almost like display cases, what you would expect to find out of like jewelry. There's glowing flowers. There's one root in particular that is seemingly fogging up the little glass box that it's sat in, almost akin to what you would assume to be like a baker's rack. Not a baker's rack, that's not correct. Those old school baker's display stands that it would be rotating to show some things that are there, all covered up. And these seem to be the high class ingredients that really do stand out from the others. As I said, there's the glowing flowers, the misting roots, all of these different things that you, Faye, I would assume, have probably never seen before.
That was gonna be my
Um,
next question: is could she identify them?
I would let you make a roll for it if you have a nature. I think nature makes the most sense.
Let me see. I do. I have 2 nature.
Yeah, I remember we were putting that in. So yeah, go ahead and roll nature, whatever that may be. I think it's in, your ranks in nature plus. I think it's like intelligence. I think.
Okay, so I do a nature roll.
Yeah.
I got a 3 success, 0 critical.
Honestly, it's not that hard. You've read this before. Though to get a little more information, you might need a little higher. Do you want to make a fortune roll? You have all your fortune dice back for today.
Yes, so I just reroll.
Yep, just reroll.
4 success, 0 critical.
4 is fine. That's actually a little better. Like I said, I put the target at 4. I was like, damn, that's unfortunate. At first, you don't recognize these, and that's because you've not been out here. In fact, as you get a little closer, and the woman behind the counter goes to open her mouth and explain what they are, you identify them. Not from seeing them in person, but from an old book of healing and whatnot that you would find specifically that your mother would have had most likely sitting in the shop which she was helping people going around. And these specifically are ingredients that can only be found here in Alanost and in Aria Proxona. Now, some of those books that your mother would have had were a little outdated. Some of them even detailed things about where to find certain ingredients in the Auralands or the Aryan Empire, which has not existed for a very long time. These, though, are more new. More new. The two most notable ones, the glowing flower and the misting root. These are specifically native to Aria Proxona and Alanost's westernmost borders, just near the fog that keeps people away. The flower in particular, is called a glow bloom. And of all the things that they're known for, they're known to help drift people to sleep and allows them to slip into a deep slumber, depending on their, well, for lack of a better term, the amount that they consume. It allows them basically almost like a narcotic. It helps them knock out, basically. Now, the root is actually called mist root. They were not creative when they named it. It's pulled from the large birch trees that sit over in Aria Proxona, just on the border of where it would have been. And this root is known for one specific thing. And it's only been able to be tested from this one specific thing because it's very hard to find outside of Alanost. These roots, when consumed, generally, at the very least, cure most, how do I put this? Tummy aches. It's quite literally used to help people who are sick, throwing up. It is almost like a relaxant as well. There is one more though that it's it's actually in the box, but it's wrapped in a bag and instead is labeled. Can't see through the bag. It's more of a pouch, but labeled on there is it says "Do not touch," and then under there it says, oh, let me pull up my notes. Oops. There it is. In this bag, little black pouch as it is, it's called Aurabrite. It is kept locked away, and Aurabrite specifically is actually something that was used apparently to identify manifestation users in the past, Empyreans. it was consumed or it was poured on the skin, and generally it was rubbed on the skin as a salve. Actually, consumed. When it was used, it was rubbed on the skin as a salve, and it would produce the color of the aura that the person had. And if it glowed bright enough and there was a notable color, that alone would be able to identify that the person had the capabilities of unlocking their manifestation. It's very rare and not really used much anymore. If anything, now it's kind of used for almost more of an Alanost tradition. If anything, it doesn't really have any medicinal benefits aside from that. It's just more of an identifier, an old tradition that's kind of kept up only around here. And that's the three main ones. Those are the ones that are locked away in the display case.
Okay, so as Faye is excitedly walking around the store, she stops in front of the glow bloom and Mr. and seems particularly interested, but doesn't say anything. She's just kind of there while the others are doing their thing.
Understandable. It's actually the old man who's gonna address you, not the younger woman who opened her mouth to speak, saw that you recognized them, and before she could really even get a word out, she realized that you weren't looking with a curious eye, more so of an eye of recognition. And so she figured she wouldn't make an ass out of herself by explaining. But the old man, still working away, mashing together what looks like some garlic and a couple other herbs that he's thrown together to make some sort of salve, goes, "Anything you like, miss. I don't get many people with a curious eye in here. In fact, I haven't recognized any of you. We get the same few customers."
She tears her eyes away from those two things and kind of stutters over her words and looks over at Tara and then back to the man and says, well, I'm going on a journey soon, so I'm just looking around for now. And says
Take
nothing
all your
just-
time. Yeah, well, take the time. Don't make me rush you. I'm happy to sample of anything you need if you got enough, if you got the eye for it. And he'll kind of peer over his shoulder a little bit and give her kind of a warm, a grandfatherly look. He's not necessarily doubting her abilities, but it's more a friendly little smile of a man who's lived for quite a long time. And a little nod. He goes, "And anything you need mocked up, I'm more than happy to do yourself."
She will smile back at him and look back at Tara and kind of wave her over.
Tara will see her go over, and as she was like doing just a quick look over at everything, kind of browsing, generally not really looking too deeply. But then when she goes over to the front desk with Faye, she'll ask the shop owner, "Do you sell any booze?"
The old man looks at her and then looks back. It looks down to Faye and then looks back at Tara and shakes his head and goes, "No, ma'am. We're a bit of a more of an well, no. The groceries that you may be looking for like that, that's." He kind of like whistles and like he fiddles as he turns a little bit. You see he's got a big old bushy mustache. He kind of like whittles it back and forth a little bit, like he's trying to think of the directions. Out the door and down. I'd say 2 stalls down to the left, across the street. They got what you're looking for if that's what you need.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll wait for you, Faye, to finish up here.
Faye's gonna blink at her and be just embarrassed that she's asking about that. She'll be like, Tara, we're here for medicines. And then
That's my medicine.
the man would say, do you have anything for fever and headaches? Bandages?
Bandages, yeah. My granddaughter can help you with that, no problem. We've got it. I just gotta see if it's around. It's around. Uh, and then he'll look back over to the younger one. She's got bright orange hair. She's absolutely Callesian through and through. As he turns and goes, Jania, help them, please. Grab what they may need. And the young woman springs up. she's not very tall. In fact, she's about your height, Faye. Actually, Faye, how tall is Faye again?
You know, I was gonna ask how tall Tarshiki women usually are.
It generally depends. Normally they can be on the shorter side, but some of them may take after their fathers, and they're a little bit more long and spindly. Not to the point where it's like uncomfortable. Like they're not like Slender Man, but they're um they do have longer limbs in general. It would kind of be up to you to decide if she's one of the more shorter ones or if she took after her father, who may be a little bit taller and lanky.
Probably somewhere in the middle, like 5'5"-ish, 5'6".
That makes sense. Yeah, this woman's a little shorter than you. She's like 5'2", 5'3". She kicks herself off the seat that she was on and goes, I can absolutely help with that. Oh, finally. That cough was her. And he goes, okay, ooh. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Ooh.
Are you alright?
She gives a little nod. And there's just a little blood in the corner of her mouth, and she kind of wipes it away and goes, yeah.
Oh.
Oh? Yeah.
She's gonna definitely take note of that and ask once again if she's okay. Like, are you sure?
Yes, I'm I'm a little sick, you see, and I came to live with my grandfather here, to well, to help alleviate some of the sickness. It's nothing we can do about it, but it helps. It helps.
She will tilt her head and consider for a moment, unsure if she should ask, but
The woman will let me make a perception. Oh yeah, it's fine enough. The woman kind of raises her hand up a little. Like I said, she's about your guys' age, probably about the same as Ballistra, maybe even a little younger. She waves her hand and goes, I get people fretting about it all the time, and no, I promise it's not contagious or nothing. Just, well, I've always been a little sick. And, we do what we can. Anyways, you were looking for headaches?
yes, what kind of sickness is it, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we don't really know. It was just something my mama was born with. Well, it took her, and eventually, and well, it's probably gonna take me too. We never really found it out, but it's something that happens when you're born out a little too close to the fog. We it's not too rare, but it's not too uncommon, but it ain't super common either. Well, we just happen to live a little too close and got unlucky, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Oh
She
no,
will,
it's
she'll then glance back at Tara, who's waiting near the door, presumably to
get
go get
booze.
booze soon. And she'll say, well, I'm interested in medicines for headaches, some bandages, and also, how much would Glow Bloom and Mistroot run us?
Oh, those. Well, well, bandages and everything, that's real cheap. Nothing too crazy about that. Looking for any of the normal herbs, it'll only run you a couple sil. But oh, those are real special. Can't usually buy them in bulk. Grandpa don't allow it. But well, if I'm being honest with you, and then the old man kind of whistles from between his teeth. trying to get like not like a sharp like hey stop wasting time, but more of a little like a little like calling sound, and goes I usually only give them out to those who know what they're doing, and if you're not careful with them, it could be a big waste. And I don't really like all that, but well, I can usually run them for. It would depend on how much you want. It's person to person, and it's just by the day.
I think we would only need perhaps a couple petals of glow bloom and not too much mist root, and I do have experience with those.
Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
My mic disconnected. I had to swap
Here we
over.
go.
Can you hear me
I'm
okay?
back. I
Eh,
have.
Let me try. Better?
Yes?
Ish. Yeah, I think my laptop just turned off.
Oh.
I had to go upstairs. Yeah, it's being weird. So, regardless of that, um, the older men, at the very least, where did I cut off? Is the real question.
Something person to person.
Yeah. Well, it's a person to person basis, really. I well, for you, if you know what you're doing, I'd be willing to part with it for about 50. At least for one. We ain't got too much, and I don't like selling them all at once. But it's still nice to have. So, what are you looking for? One, two, three heads?
First a question for you, Frey. I don't know how much money the party has.
That's a dang good question. Um, yeah. In fact, now that I think about it, I don't actually think we ever talked about how much money you guys have. But presumably,
Economy was
um,
never really a topic of discussion very much.
yeah, yeah. I realize now that we think about it, we never really talked about economy. Uh, um, huh. Well, I should clarify at the very least. That's a damn good question. You all, at the very least, with Tara working, and presumably, I believe that Faye was also working slightly. She might not have been tending the fields, but if I remember correctly, she was still helping heal people.
Hmm.
You guys would probably have a decent chunk of change. Nothing fancy like Charlotte, who's walking around wearing Gucci everything. Or I should say Hoochie everything. I shouldn't. Oh, not Hoochie, not Hoochie.
Are you saying?
uh, No, I'm not saying that Charlotte is a hoochie mama like we did with with fucking Genevieve in Genesis. Um,
She did
um,
not like being called that.
no, I understand. That's not a great term to be called a hoochie mama. But, um, for the topic of economy right now, I would say at the very least you would have enough, albeit 50 is a very steep price. Everything else would probably run you like 15 sil total for buying enough of what you're looking for. 50 for a single ingredient is like that's like a full meal and drinks.
Hmm. So it'd be like 50 each for like one head of glow bloom and a mist root?
Yeah,
Separate?
one each. Yeah, like
Okay.
separate. Yeah. It would be very expensive. It is a rare ingredient.
So Faye will consider for a moment and gonna go through her pockets. Well, I am interested in, I suppose, a head of glow bloom. No mist root for now, then. And bandages and herbs for headaches. That'll be enough for now.
Oh, we can do that. And with that, his granddaughter, she gets to work. You hear her roaming around in throughout the shop, kind of grabbing things, almost shopping for you, as as she's listening to what you're saying, and And as she walks over with a small pouch, she hands it to you and goes, "I've given you some willow bark. I've given you some ginger, and the bandages are in there already. Don't worry about that." She wipes her mouth again, and just kind of takes a couple deep breaths. And the old man at this point sets down the mortar and pestle, and he puts on a glove, reaches in, and grabs a single head of both the glow root and the mist bloom that are there, and goes and sets them in a separate bag. He wraps them up separately, and goes, "Now be careful. You can't you can't uh you can't put mist bloom anywhere near the rest of your ingredients."
Hold on, I got the glow bloom. Is he giving me mist root for free?
Oh, you were only I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought you were getting the mist root as well.
Deadbeat,
My
I'll
bad.
take it, but you know.
No. I actually misspoke anyways. I meant the glow bloom. You can't keep it anywhere. He takes the glow bloom and he hands it to you and goes, "This you can't keep anywhere around the other ingredients. It's likely to spoil them. So carry it separately and you'll be all good."
She nods and pockets them and thanks him and walks back over to Tara.
Oh, and little miss.
Yes?
Uh be real careful with handling that stuff. You need to make sure that when you're making anything with it that you don't inhale anything that might come out of it. It's not as bad as the mist root, but the flowers they can let off a bit of an air, and you don't want to be falling asleep while you're working.
Of course. She will incline her head and be about her way.
It's about that time that Ballistra comes in, if she wasn't there already.
Oh, good morning to you too.
Ballistra's dead.
Yeah, good morning to you too. She'll nod to Faye, not look Tara in the eye.
Oh, good morning. Ballistra, right?
Correct. You are
It's
Ruitha,
nice to
yes?
see you again. Yes.
Likewise. I think I'm in the correct store here. This is a. She looks around and is like, "This is." Hmm. Will do. And with that, she'll approach the counter and say, "Hello, I'm looking to replenish my stocks for herbs and spices for the road. It's going to be a long trip, and road rations are unfortunately rather bland."
Well, I can't deny that now. I've been on the road for a long time, and they don't ever taste good. Woo, you got anything in mind there, miss?
Well, let me think. Naturally, garlic is a given. If we've got anything that's particularly aromatic, if we've got any. If you have any star anise or cumin.
Oh, we probably got some of that around here.
I'd very much appreciate that.
GG. Immediately, even though she's literally just handed the bag off to Faye, almost like with a little salute, she gets back up with another bag and then just starts running around. Good girl, that one. She always works real hard. Yeah, we can get
Good
you
work
some.
ethic is laudable.
Yes, it is. She likes working. She likes moving. Regardless, just for taste, yeah? You ain't looking for nothing healing? It looks like y'all know each other now.
Well, we've met each other in passing in the last couple of days. For myself, honestly, I'm much of the belief that that cooking well leads to good health, and is in its own way a form of good medicine. But also, many of the herbs here I recognize from any grocery trip, really. But I believe this is more of a medicinal store. Looking at it.
We've got a little bit of spices and herbs here. I mean, it's hand in hand. But Yeah, the more the fresh things. I wouldn't really recommend anything fresh for a long trip. Where y'all headed to?
Oh, just a bit of a trek. She's gonna like glance over towards Tara and Faye.
And Cassian, he's there too. He's
Okay,
sitting
all
in
right,
the back.
Yeah, Cassius is here too. Um,
Silent, staring.
we're gonna be heading. We're gonna be heading west for a bit. And it's gonna be an odd. It's gonna be a long trip, and it's going to be one with unfamiliar food and unfamiliar palates. So it'll be nice to have a little bit of taste of home. You are muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. My dang headset's just really glitchy. My laptop can't really keep the power to it. And since I went upstairs to keep the child calm, I have to swap back to my phone. What was the question?
No, she said, we're going to be heading westward for a bit, and it's going to be full of unfamiliar food and unfamiliar palates, so it'll be nice to have a taste of home.
Westward.
Mm.
You mean east?
No. No.
Oh.
Outsec.
Ah.
It's like,
well, don't go too.
As you can see, we have somebody here we have a couple of individuals here from Tarshik. I'll be making the trip with them. Ballistra is lying.
Makes sense. He doesn't much necessarily care, so I won't necessarily. He's more so just make a friendly conversation.
I don't expect these two to be like ratting us out to anybody in particular. I don't expect them to become questioning the herb shop owner, and I don't expect these two to be coming after us for any reason. Ballistra is just being careful.
No, completely understandable. I was saying that because I don't need you to make a deception roll. He kind of goes, "Oh, okay." Sludgy, dark, good old Western booze, if she can. Yes, Tara. Once you slip out with Faye, you can go and absolutely get that. The old man behind the counter, kind of regarding you with a nod. He hasn't turned back to the mortar and pestle. In fact, he's still just handed off the flour over to Faye as she's leaving. So he's kind of leaning his hands on the counter. They're old gruff farmer hands. And he gives a little nod and goes, "Well, yeah, I can't imagine. Just be careful about going a little too far, too west. I'm sure you seem to be from around here, but
you're speaking of the
well,
mists.
Yeah, of course. We lived out there for a little while. We're coming from Glorian, and
you did.
We lived real close to it.
That's quite close to perilous territory. Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. My family was family from there, and well, they claim that they came all the way over from the old country before it fell.
Is that a matter of fact?
I wish. I wish we knew.
My ancestors came from the old country as well. Long family goes back. We nothing too grandiose. It's a family of cooks, and we've been that for like 10 generations at this point.
Well, it looks like your heritage is still bright-eyed there, ain't it? And he'll kind of lean in and point towards her eyes. Kind of point towards his own eyes as he says it, actually.
She'll give a little shy dip of her head as she chuckles at it. This is something she's probably heard about 1,000 times from relatives and neighbors. Which says, yes, it's something of a mark of pride. Thank you for noticing.
Well, it's rare. I mean, you get a couple of people every once in a while with the recessives, but well, it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Anyway, it's also
sorry. Go on.
It's also nice to see people keeping the old culture alive and well. It's something I've been studying for quite some time. I'm always curious. Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm no scholar, but anytime I'm able to dig up any pieces or learn anything about the old Orient land, it's always exciting.
Have you checked the local shops, the junk shops?
No, as a matter of fact. I intended to do something along those lines when I was passing through here. But my plans have changed since. I think that might be. I think that might just be the ticket. I've heard that they sometimes sell trinkets from the old country.
Indeed, indeed. I got a friend. Real nice old lady. Real pretty. She runs one of them stores. Her sons go out all the time, and they make a good living out of it. Go and take a look. But
They go
well, yeah, I'm
scouring near the mists. Then that's dangerous work.
it is, but well, people got to survive, and
They do.
survival ain't easy nowadays.
No, it is
So
not. Everybody has to earn their keep.
exactly. You know, if you don't mind me asking, you said you're a studier. Yeah, you studied up in the old country.
In my free time, yeah.
Mm. Well, then maybe you could help me with something.
And she creases a brow. Then she says, I can see if I can."
He'll kind of waddle his old self over to the to the to the display case, and as he does, he reaches past the mist bloom, past the flower, and he goes straight to the blacked out bag, and he pulls it out, and he's very careful with it. He still has one of his hands gloved, and as he does, he unravels the string at the very top, and the pouch itself just kind of falls away to reveal a little bulb. It almost looks like an unbloomed flower pod. It's curled up with there, and there's no glow, but there's a very almost sickeningly sweet smell that hits the air.
Wrinkle her nose
And
at it.
this stuff's real rare. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't sold more than 3 of them my entire time working here. They mostly just go bad.
She'll nod, motioning him to continue. He's like, "What is it?"
Or bright.
Or bright.
I don't know if you ever done heard of nothing about that. It wasn't anything that I ever read about, but it was something my grandpappy taught me. And here's before him,
I've heard.
when they made the travel.
Mhm.
Go on, Ballista.
Could I potentially make a nature roll as well, like Faye did?
Means, yeah.
Okay. 4-1.
415. That's pretty damn good. Well, considering the last one was a 4, yeah, this is totally fine. You would recognize it right away. In fact, you'd recognize all 3 of these, at least from old cookbooks or recipe books that were left from, or that were taken to Cristino, that are relatively well guarded for an understanding of that. These, you would have the same information that Faye got. That these things are either new or remnants from the Aryan areas of the world that only cropped up in the Orlands and have since, well, they've relatively gone, not necessarily extinct, but they've become exceedingly rare. And as the old man kind of he handles this small bulb with care, he looks it over and he looks to you and goes, "I'm surprised you've never heard of it before."
Well, the name now rings a bell, but I've only really read about it. It's there are a couple of recipes that incorporate it. It's a rare thing. It was usually I'm going to ad-lib this a little bit. It was usually utilized at Imperium banquets and was sometimes used as a sort of showpiece during dinners, or at least that's what's theorized. This is most unusual. It was said to unveil the the color of one's soul.
That's what my grandmama told me. But, well, she never wrote it down, you see. And
they used to grow an okay amount over where I used to live in Glorian, right before the mist expanded a little bit and we had to move. And well, the problem I'm facing with it is that it ain't got no medicinal values. It's really just a showpiece, and well, all but one person that I ever gave it to, they couldn't make it work. And the one who did, well, he wouldn't tell me how he did it.
You're hoping I might be able to discover how to make the recipe work again.
Worth a shot. I mean, it's not every day that I meet someone who's studied up on our history, so, well,
I,
it would be nice.
Absolutely. I'm not sure what you might expect in return for this, but I most certainly can do my best with it. I have no idea where to start. All I have is some recipes, but I absolutely can give it a try.
Well, I ain't really expected much of anything. It's just nice to see. And, well, I watched it happen one time when I was a little boy. My grandmother always knew how to make it work. Said it was something with the mixing. I never really figured out what. But she passed before she got to pass it down to me, and it'd be nice to have it written down. If you can figure it out, well, I'd appreciate it. Let me know about it. It'd be nice to see you again.
Well, I'll most certainly try. Even if we have another day here in the city, I can give it a try, or at the very least, I can send you a letter if I manage to work it out mid-travel. Absolutely, I could be honored.
Well, then take it. You're doing me a service, and they don't sell.
And you me. If there's any bit we can recover of the old knowledge is a step back in the right direction.
Well, then I'll take it as my contribution, and I'm sure my grandmother's looking down on me real happy like.
I'm sure she is. Thank you. This is very generous of you.
It's at that time that his granddaughter comes over. She's panting a little bit, but she's got her sack of goods, different herbs, spices, just a general traveler's pack almost.
Mm.
And she looks and yeah. Whew.
Thank you. She'll hand over the.
Sorry about the wait.
It's no problem. Your grandfather is excellent company.
Oh, he just likes to talk so much, and I understand. He's.
That is a nasty cough.
Yeah, yeah. I just been running around a little too much. I gotta sit. And she kind of makes her way back around the counter and sits back down in her stool.
Willis will nod and not pry further. She'll hand over the requisite money. She'll take the bag of goods. She'll add it to her own pack, hanging at her side. Give the old man a nod as she then also pockets the aura globe. The aura globe. I'll let you know as soon as I find something out.
We'll be here. Ain't no rush. I ain't going nowhere yet.
And with that, she's gonna take a step back. She's gonna look to the others and go like, assuming you don't have anything else you wish to do here, my next stop is just to grab some flour and meat and other things for the road. I'll look to Cassius.
Cassius.
Crumbled to ash.
He's crumbled to ash.
He's in his ash
Casey's
form.
dead.
He fell apart.
I stepped away for a moment. Sorry. Please repeat.
No, Ballistra's finished shopping. And is she said to be basically to those in the shop. My only other tickets for the day are to ask around a little bit, but otherwise for shopping, just some flour and meat and some other essentials before we hit the road.
I was hoping to purchase poultices for birds, salves, road rash,
That's right.
medicine against travel sickness.
Which is Melissa. She gets like, thanks for saying that's right. We have a fire user.
That's actually one thing I don't think you guys actually know.
Did she not mention? No, she mentioned in a separate scene about like burning things and blowing them up.
He's asking for selves for burns in general.
That's understandable, yeah.
Consider nothing said.
Once more, the girl gets up, and you hear a little sharp whistle, and then she sits back down and goes, "I'll just get the rest of it." And it's the same song and dance. They're going around grabbing. Yeah. And yeah, same thing. Healing salves, stuff for burn wounds. The old man will at the very least go, "We ain't got nothing too crazy like the fire lakes out in Relty, but well, it'll make do." Whew. Oh, and he waddles back behind the counter. I've been moving too much.
Neat. Travel sickness, nausea. Anything against heat stroke. Dehydration.
Whew, okay, let me. And the old man starts waddling around looking. He's not as fast as his granddaughter, but as he grabs the things, he goes, "Y'all are going on an adventure." Oh,
It is unsure when we return to any civilization, so it is best to be prepared.
well, that's fair enough, I suppose. Hey. Oh, and he'll hand you the bag as well as he sweats and makes his way back over to the counter and kind of leans back. Oh, well, that's nothing else. Y'all have been pleasant company.
Likewise. I wish you and your. I wish you both well.
Well, we wish it back to you, and well, we'll be here. Whew. Gigi, I'm gonna lie down. You man the store for me, and she nods and helps her grandfather up and waddles him into the back room as they both end up leaving for the time being.
Not me fucking forgetting the word for nephew.
Niece.
Niece, fuck, see, I still hadn't got it.
Okay.
I wish you and your. I wish you both well.
Oh, oh man,
Wish
that
your
works.
younger relative well.
I wish you and your young relative.
I wish you and your related person.
That is literally what came to mind, but like, I can't say that, so I just wish you both well.
I was like, I wonder what happened there. Now, yeah. With that, let's switch gears to Sala, and then we'll gear up for the Yushra meeting. But we'll probably do the Yushra meeting next session because I suspect that's going to take some time. And I specifically want to make sure that gets highlighted because I suspect I know what it's going to be about, and I don't want it to be hastened up. So, Sala.
Yes.
You've been wandering, and you're looking to speak with someone. Now, where exactly are you thinking of going? There's inns, there's taverns, there's all these businesses. Where would Sala look? Where would Sala go?
That's a good question. I don't know if he would have any specific place in mind, to be honest.
Well, sometimes wandering is just how it is. Do you want to leave it up to chance and make a fortune roll?
Yes.
Sure, go ahead. Give it a shot.
Even if I don't have a fortune die? Or
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
That's the thing. Like I said, this is more of like almost like a fortune save, which doesn't exist. But I might just put that in the words because I like the idea of if you're wandering aimlessly, sometimes your luck will have to come into play.
Oh yeah. Here, let's
So
let's give it a whirl.
Whatever your fortune rank is.
Is this working? I
It
don't
might,
know if it's working.
if you're just rolling fortune on the sheet, it'll only roll one die at a time. What you got to do is either roll something that's the same amount, or just roll fortune like an amount of times equal to your rank.
Yeah. It's just the easier way to kind of handle it.
Here, I'll roll. Okay, I got one success and one crit.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, shit. There you go. All right,
Hey,
Sala, you would have wandered through the main street for a little while as well. Admittedly, you were a little bit more familiar with the layout of Alanost at this point because you and Yushra both went around last night and you made yourself basically a little bit more acquainted with the place. And as you wander about and you eventually find your way at an isolated building, while the main street specifically is more akin to like a strip mall with all the interwoven buildings and whatnot, as you get a little further out, those smaller interconnected buildings are brought together with larger buildings, and one of them that catches your eye is a bathhouse tavern. Very strange, but shockingly very nice looking at the same time. And as you would enter, there's quite a bit of foot traffic around this place, which at the very least may catch your eye and bring you there. Stepping into the building, it looks like it's carved from the ground up rather than almost like the base was already here and then they built around that base. Stepping in, you're immediately hit with the smell of sulfur almost. It's not a great smell. But it's very faint over the smell of cooking, and it's pretty busy in here. You're hearing voices of all kinds. You're basically surrounded by people. And at the far back of this establishment, with barmaids running about and bringing food to tables, and both the loud and rambunctious and, well, the more quiet and calm who are sitting in the edges of the room, there's a couple people behind the main bar, which is located in the dead center of this place, surrounding all the tables that are around it. And these people are working relatively hard. There's a large bar stand, basically, or a large shelf that's holding a bunch of different bottles. None of them are marked, mind you. They're just bottles of all different shapes and sizes.
right.
And the real question is, once you get in here, are you going to talk to the people? Are you going to talk to the people who work at the establishment? Or are you talking to the patrons, rather? Are you going to go to the baths that are in the back, as you can tell from that lingering smell of somewhat sulfur?
Actually, I'll go up to the bar area.
Understandable.
We'll go up to the bar area, and if there's a bartender, is there a bartender there?
Yeah, there's several, but the main one who immediately as you walk up, the bar itself is more of like a running station, and so there's not even really that many seats. There's only about 4 on each side, um, and there's a couple people scattered about there. But as you make your way, one of the barkeeps, she is wiping down the bar top, cleaning up a mess, and you hear some crunching beneath her feet of glass as she looks up and goes, "Oh, 1 second, please. I am. What can I help you with? What do you want?"
Don't mind me. I think I'm just might just be passing through. Though I might slightly indulge in a little something. I couldn't help but notice. This is a tavern with baths in the back. He says, kind of taking up a seat at the bar area. Can you tell me about that? It caught my eye and my nose.
Yeah, you get used to the nose biting. Gross. She shakes her head. It goes away with time. I mean, there's not much to say. Well, the bathhouse was here. It was used for quite some time, and then it fell into disrepair. And so, well, when we came, it was all stagnant and gross. And so the boss, the man who runs this place, came in, fixed it, and then built a tavern on top of it because nothing makes people want to go into the bath more than getting very intoxicated.
I'll tell you what, from back where I come from, there are at least a couple of communities that do that.
No, of course, of course.
They're a bit few and far between, but you'd be surprised.
I'm sorry, I totally missed that. What was that?
They're a bit few and far between, but you'd be surprised.
Well, where do you come from then? I suppose if I'm going to be really honest with you, I don't get out much. So if you've seen them before, well, then that is nice to know.
You know Vizra?
The big, scary desert place all the way across the world.
Yes, way out there. It might seem scary at first, but believe me, it's a lot more under the surface.
The woman, mind you, is about in her mid-30s. She's not old, but I'd say she's about 36, 37. And she kind of looks you up and down, and she cocks her head and goes, "Under the surface sounds horrifyingly terrible. What do you mean under the surface? Are there things living under the ground?"
No, I mean surface level impressions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. And she kind of slaps herself a little bit. It's been a long day. It's been very busy since those people ran to town. Everyone else
No.
came to do.
No, you're all right. To be perfectly honest, the desert might be a harsh place, but once you get past that, once you've kind of how do I say this? He kind of leans his arms on the bar top. Once you've kind of stayed in it for long enough, once you've kind of moved past some of the more imposing parts of it, it's quite beautiful, actually. You should see the sunsets there. Did you see the Canyonlands? Beautiful arrays of colors.
Well then, stranger, if I am to be honest with you, you are the first person to ever speak nicely about the place. Why did you leave?
Sala takes a deep breath and kind of furrows his brow and says, "It's complicated. Or a bit of a long story. Not something I can really get into detail about here. Let's just say it involved a disagreement, and I was forced to leave because of it."
Huh.
I like I said, I would get into detail, but like I said, it's a long story. It's not one I particularly like to recount often.
Well, fair enough. We have all types of travelers here who come in and do their thing, and they don't ever tell me anything. So, frankly, you could just be lying to me. It is no big deal. I just like to ask. Well, then,
Fret not, I'm not one to lie.
it is okay. Even if you were, I wouldn't care.
I'm
And
one
she
to
chuckles
embellish,
a little.
though.
Yeah, that's fair. He chuckles. She chuckles a little bit and then goes, "Well, Mister, I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. What can I do for you?"
A drink, maybe something to snack on for now. Nothing too strong in terms of drink, though. I have a very important day coming up, and I want to be in good shape for it. You know.
Oh, look at you! Not able to explain, but now look at you. Very important. And she immediately turns around and grabs a glass and starts filling it with one of the multitudes of bottles that is stacked up. It's almost like you know those ladders that are attached with like a library where you have to
Yeah. The
climb in and
big
slide them over.
yeah,
Yeah,
the big
the
mobile step
wheeled
ladders.
ladders. Yeah, the weird like the ladders with the wheels on them that let you kind of slide down the bookshelves. They've got that. This thing is like from top to bottom just stacked with booze. and and the woman climbs up, scoots it down a little bit, grabs a red bottle, starts climbing down, and she's pouring it on the way down. As she gets halfway down, realizes she's poured it, climbs back up irritatedly, puts the bottle back, comes back, and then sets it in front of you. Well, what's so important then? If you are here, you've left your beautiful home country, and now you are here with us. Why? Answer me that at least, Mister. Don't have time to explain.
Well, actually, if I might introduce myself properly, I'm Salah.
Well, at least he has time to give his name. And she nods. And then she kicks back and she almost kind of leans. It's not too busy right here over on there. And goes ah oh well Sala, it is nice to meet you. My name is Valatini.
Palatini. Pleasure to meet.
Of course. So, and she kind of cocks her head a little bit and grabs a glass for herself, looks around, and then pours a little shot of something, then looks back and goes, so you're just visiting for something important then, Sal?
Yes.
Can you explain that either? Is it sworn to secrecy?
Out of character, I'm trying to determine if I should even say anything. if I
Sweats nervously.
thinking very pensively whether or not he's even allowed to divulge details about our trip or about our arrangement. Let me just say, it's an important party. Me and a few people were specially selected to partake in a special arrangement.
Oh, how fancy. And she almost like puts on like a fake accent and stiffens up a little bit and pinches her nose and goes, oh yes, of course, they are the fanciest of fancy and the mysterious man from the mysterious desert place who is not allowed to tell me why he left, is not allowed to tell me where he is going.
I would divulge. I would. I would divulge more. Listen, I could divulge more details if I wanted to, but let's just say it's. Let's just say it's also complicated.
Well, Sola, complicated as you are. Interesting. Well then, I hope your money isn't complicated because you do owe me for that.
I'm really getting raked over the coals today. I mean, I have at least a little. I mean, I have at least a little bit of money on me from traveling, but it almost feels feeling a little bit under pressure, you know.
I didn't expect to have to pay for things. It's the homeless man.
he's home.
My finances are also complicated.
My finances are also complicated.
I mean, I might have money, but I've never really had much time to really go over finances. I mean, I'm.
It's complicated, yes?
No, I'm homeless.
Well, that's not very complicated. That's just very sad.
Well, I wouldn't say homeless. I mean, that's the term that some people would throw around. I wander quite a bit.
What a nice way to say that you are homeless. She looks you up and down and then gives you she kind of like rests her hand over top of yours and goes, well then, Mystery Sala, who has a very complicated life, why don't you just pay me back the next time that you are back to town?
I will do my best. I will see what I can do.
Well,
But,
let me put it a little nicer. You're going to pay me the next time you come back. Just very straight up again. Just no, no. I need my money at some point.
Fair enough. You have a deal.
Good. I don't want to throw your handsome self into the sewers. So very good.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I've probably been at least a little bit more messy.
Well, you're homeless, so I wouldn't doubt it. Oh,
Listen, I might be homeless, but at least I understand at least some degree of hygiene.
well, look at that. He has something. Very good. Very good. Well, if there's nothing else, I have to get back to work. And she'll turn back towards the towards the bottles and goes, unless you have something else.
Sala does kind of peek back towards towards like the bath area where the scent emanates from. He does kind of sniff a bit and say, "I would ask a bit more about the baths, but given my money situation, I can't exactly ask for a room."
No, we don't have any room. We only have the bats. Those are free, actually. So long as you have a drink. And she tips the little bit of your glass. They're just old. They are as I said, it was the owner of this place who got them back up and running again after they dried up. They had been left for a while. Alanos was not in a great place for some time, and it was specifically after the last tournament that, or was it the one before? Well, they suffered quite a blow, and many people left.
See, I almost had the impression that maybe there was like natural hot spring. You know, usually they bubble. Usually bubbling up from the earth to make something like that.
Well, that is partially why it smells like that. Yes, there is a natural hot spring out here, but it's very odd and out of the way, and it was inactive, I guess I should say. The water was gone. I don't know what the man did, but he brought it back.
He brought back the water.
I don't know. I haven't really talked to him since he hired me. He doesn't come around much.
That is interesting, though. You've got yourself a miracle worker for the boss, I suppose. What was that?
Miracle worker, yes, I suppose. He did save the place from falling to ruins, which is quite nice. At least
There
for
you have
now,
it.
it gave me a job.
Gives you somewhere to be.
Yes, but you don't have anywhere to be, so do you not like working or?
I have everywhere to be.
How very quaint.
When you have a lifestyle like me, you tend to go anywhere you wish, or anywhere that the wind takes you, I suppose.
Sala, you are very romantic. It's quite nice, actually.
I just find the world to be something to appreciate. The little things in it, you know.
I wish there were more people like that. I haven't been home in a very long time, and well, it's nice to see that there are some people out there who are how do I put this? A little bit more on the romantic side out here. People are very mean. Not mean. They're very stuck in their ways out this way.
Tradition. Tradition will do that to you sometimes.
Indeed, and it's just the way they were raised. But I suppose it's better than where I was from, so I will take it. Um, hmm. But if I speak any longer, they're going to yell at me. I'm already getting looks. And she looks over her shoulder at one of the bartenders, who's just kind of glaring at her, and then like going back to working and serving customers.
Well, as he presumably finishes another drink, I won't keep you too much longer then.
Oh, please bother me more later, Sala. I will be here most likely, unless they fire me.
Since I'm new in the city, I have I have plenty of places to go and plenty to see.
Well, then don't forget about me, because you owe me money.
Quite so. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be back probably sometime before I have to leave tomorrow.
Of course. Well, then I'll look forward to it, Sala. And then she turns her back. And I assume that you're getting up to head out right about then. And as you do, and she hears you get up, she goes, "And Sala, good luck at the tournament." And then goes right back to working.
We who are about to die salute you. And he does a
She
little
knew.
bow.
He didn't necessarily hide it very well. And she kind of waves over her shoulder. And Sala,
I was kind of figuring that he was being a bit cheeky.
Yeah,
with the details.
We have to go somewhere. Why are you here? Well, I had to leave my home. Why'd you leave your home? I just had to. Where are you going? It's complicated. All right, well,
over there.
But over there, that way, we're traveling everywhere. Oh, cool. Also, doesn't help the fact that you all were running down the main street and there was a man with a shadow hand swinging in the fucking air, so trying to grab you. Once again, a little hard to stay low profile, but that's okay.
Sala was doing his best to try and maintain at least some kind of low profile ish, but even he knew it was an uphill battle.
Indeed. And for that, as Sala leaves, that's actually where we're going to cut for today. It went a little longer than intended, but it was nice. I didn't expect the extra day, but that's a good point. You were all very drunk. So that's fine. I had no problem with that. But next session, it was a little bit of a calmer one today, a little bit more RP heavy, but it was a simple one. Next session, we'll have Yustra's meeting, which is actually perfect timing because honestly, Caspian was going to reach out to you all anyways before we all headed out. So having a meeting with Yusra would be a good idea as the day ends. But thank you guys for being here. It was a little bit longer than intended, but we started a little later, so no harm, no foul. And thanks. It was fun. I enjoyed playing around with that a little bit.
Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys. And then next week, we'll actually set off on the adventure, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
17 sessions later.
Yeah, okay. Either way,
20
thank you guys for
later.
being here. Yeah. Wait, what? Don't worry about it. Anyways, I will see you guys next Sunday, if not sooner. I normally see all of you guys before that anyways. So that should be no big deal.
We only meet up for RPGs. Nothing else.
We don't
Not
ever
even
talk
once.
to each other. I don't even like these people. No, I'm kidding.
Get the words right out of my mouth.
I don't even know.
Good
I
night.
don't even know who you are. I don't even know who I am. How did I get here?
I fucking hate you. Sweet dreams. Good night.
Love you, boo.
Love you, boo boo.
Fuck you. I love you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
And with that, we're just gonna say, see you guys later.
See you guys. Bye.
Yes, catch y'all later. Bye bye.